What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing out there? Hope you're doing well. Good to be here on a Sunday night. Just got through watching Synth over on the Dead Pit and Subjective Perspective Collective channel, talking about Demons, Demons 2. Synth is the fucking hardest working man in YouTube. I swear to God, that dude's been all weekend long around the NAMM convention, doing live streams from there. It's been pretty cool popping in and out throughout the week and checking out what he's up to. And there's a lot of cool shit going on there. So if you haven't checked that out, check his page out at Synth Addict on YouTube. A lot of cool stuff he encountered this weekend. But how's everybody doing here? It's good to get on here. We got a little bit of news to talk about, the future of Living Dead Weekend 2025 and beyond. Is this it? That's the big question. I think that's the question everybody's kind of asking right now. There was an official statement put out by Kevin Kreis, the guy who runs the Living Dead Museum, Living Dead Weekend. When did he put that out? Friday, I think he put the official statement out. So we're gonna read through that, kind of go through that. What does it mean for the the convention going forward? What does it mean for the mall going forward? So yeah, I wouldn't say it's a fun topic to talk about. It's kind of a sad, unfortunate topic to talk about. But it's one that I'm pretty passionate about and kind of really wanted to talk about. I was talking to Larry the other night, texting him back and forth, and I was just kind of going on this rant, and I was just like, man, I'm sorry, like I'm pretty invested in all this right now. He's like, yeah, I'm invested too. It's okay. But yeah, we got that. A couple other things to talk about, and other than that, we can just hang out here for a couple hours and shoot the shit, talk about whatever you guys want to chat about. But let's see who's in the house tonight. Saw Mr. Matt Landrum in the house. What's up, Matt? Another excellent song choice. I thought you'd appreciate that one. Although listening to it with the fucking dark clouds in the background in the mall, and it's like the end has come. It's very ominous. I didn't mean it to be as ominous as that, but just a cool song that I wanted to use on here for an intro. But what's up, man? Good to see you. Brad, what's up, man? 1911 guitar dude. Hi, everyone. Brad actually was looking out for your boy here the other day. He came across something on eBay that I've been looking for quite some time, and I'm close to getting a couple of times, but this time it finally, hopefully, is working out. I actually did pull the trigger and get it. I've been looking for it for a while, and when let's hope fucking win, because I've ordered this thing 2 other times on eBay and it hasn't made it to my residence yet. But let's hope that third time's the charm, and I'll be the owner of one of these bad boys here soon. I'm gonna keep it a secret because I'm gonna open it here for all of you guys to see as well, and we'll talk about it. Although I think I kind of spoiled it for Matt and Will. I messaged Will, but yeah, thanks a lot, man. Thank you for keeping an eye out. I would have missed that completely. But good to see you, my man. Robert, what's up, man? Robert Harp's II. Hello, everyone. Good to be here live tonight. Always good to have you live, man. Good to see you as always. Down is up. What's up, man? Just saw you over at the on the Dead Pit channel watching the Demon stream with Synth and Dirk Darren. I had to switch over to you from Dead Pit. Well, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I actually still have the stream pulled up over here on my other laptop. From where I was watching it a minute ago. But I love Demons 2. The Church, not so much. I mean, it's fine, but I'm just a huge fan of Demons, to the point where when I was doing my student films, we'll call them, back in high school, the name of my production company was Metropole Productions. From named after the theater from Demons. I was so into it back then. But yeah, good to see you, man. Bonnie's in the house. Bonnie, good evening, all. Good to see you, Bonnie, as always. Down is up, is a fan of the intro as well. The man himself, John Vulo. What's up, John? Good to see you. Let's see who else. Blake Allen in the house. What's up, Blake? Glad to be here. Glad to have you, sir. Matt saying, please, if you haven't been to Living Dead Weekend at the Monroeville Mall yet, I implore you to make the trek this year. Yeah, and that's going to be kind of a big part of this conversation. Like I said, we'll go over the statement that Kevin put out the other day, and we can kind of just, talk about what it means for convention going forward, what it means for the mall going forward. A lot to unpack, a lot to think about. Like I said, I went on a whole diatribe Larry about it the other night. So it's something it's been weighing on my mind a lot this weekend, especially. But yeah, I can't, I second that wholeheartedly. And of course, I've been saying that ever since I've started the channel, because it was one of those things that I put off for years and years and years, and wish I'd hadn't, especially now. But when you finally do make the trip, and it seems like, like it's like fucking Oz, it's the big shiny star on the hill. It's like, oh man, one day maybe I'll, maybe get there. And when you finally do, it's just like, oh, why have I waited so long? Like I'm here. Like it takes you a minute to just be like, oh shit, I'm here. And when you realize you're here, like, wow, I could do this again. I think I could do this again. Um, Ed, what's up, man? Ed Trader Music and Entertainment's in the house. If it is the last at the mall, you are all welcome to have a weekend at my little movie and music museum. We may have to do that, man. Like if we can't all get together about once a year at least, because it used to be twice a year. They would do one in October, one in June. The October show they've kind of shelved, but the June show has been going on for the past couple of years. And man, if we don't have a place to gather and hang out and kind of speak the same language as I say, and just kind of get our, nerd out a little bit once a year, in a way that you only can at Living Good Weekend, we may have to do that, man. I might have to take you up on that. We'll just host it from your place. Good to see you, man. Down is Up says he will definitely be there. Awesome, man. And like I said, like I tell everybody, if you see me out and about, come hello, because I love meeting all you guys. I've met quite a few people since starting the channel, from just people that just watch the channel and were like, oh man, I'm finally like hearing you talk about it, and I finally decided we're gonna make the trip this year, and here we are, and it's the fucking greatest thing in the world. Like, I'm so glad you did it. Like, come on, let's hang out. So yeah, definitely, man. I'll look forward to seeing you there. Robin, I love Demons 1 and 2, but still need to watch The Church. Yeah, Church is one I watched like once, and it's fine. It's not terrible, but it's nothing that I die to go back to very often. I know that they just did that new version. Severin put it out not too long ago. I've been meaning to get that, but because I do think it would look pretty damn good in 4K. I'll have to check that out for myself, but yeah, Demons 1, 2. Demons 2 is actually the first one that I saw, and then I saw Demons 1 after I saw Demons 2. And it's just like it's like Dawn of the Dead, it's like a punk rock, it's like a rock and roll horror movie. Guys on fucking motorcycles, helicopters crashing through the ceiling of a movie theater. To me, Demons is kind of a zombie movie. Like, I don't know what you think about that, but I've always considered Demons as kind of a zombie-ish movie, if nothing else. And it always had that feeling, especially at the end when they finally get out of the theater and they get out into the world, and the world's been taken over, and it's just kind of martial law. Like, that's straight out of a zombie movie, and that to me makes up more of what a zombie movie is, more so than, are zombies slow, or are they fast, or do they do this or do that? Like, it's like 28 Days Later to me, everybody's like, oh, it's an infected person's movie. I'm like, bullshit. It's a zombie movie. Because to me, a zombie movie is far more than just the monster itself. It's far more than the zombie. It's the upheaval that the world is in and how the characters are reacting to it. Me as a Romero fan, that's what a zombie movie is. I think that's the thing that attracts me to that genre. More so than, like I said, the flesh eating aspect, or the dead coming back to life aspect, or the gore, anything like that. It's the idea of the world that we live in being turned completely on its head. Like, there's no safe place. It's like in a slasher film, you can get in a car and drive to the police station and you're fine. You can't do that in a zombie film. The world is fucking over, and that's, that's kind of what Demons is. I mean, it's literally an end of the world type of movie. Anyway, Bryce, I'm glad to be. Can't wait to review. Yeah, no, I really, really appreciate it. I'm pretty fucking pumped, and I'm just glad that I actually had a little bit of extra money set aside to get, because it wasn't a bad price or anything. But, and I thought about it for a little bit, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go ahead and get it. But yeah, I can't wait. I have plans for it already. I'll just say that. Larry, what up, man? Larry's in the house. I'm here too, he says. Well, good to see you, my man. Tried to get you on here. But you said you really don't have anything to say outside of what's what's been reported out there, and um, but like you're welcome to come on anytime, man. And like I said, I'm gonna try to convey the information as I can. But I don't really know as too much. It's gonna be more than it's gonna be more so just contemplating what ifs basically, which is what I'm good at. I did a show on what ifs a couple months ago. I'm really good about just sitting there and as Vince McMahon would call it, mental masturbation, just like, oh well, what if this happens, didn't this happen, blah blah blah. But glad you're in here, man. Hopefully if anybody has any questions that Larry can answer, feel free to ask, because I have had some people ask, where's the Living Dead weekend going to be going forward? Is it still going to be at the mall this year? Is it going to be there? So we'll try to tackle all that and give you guys all the information going forward that we have so far. I don't know. Robert saying I'm going to start saving money to go for the first time. Absolutely, man. Do it. Like I said, and I mean, this could be the last chance, could be the last opportunity, could be, I don't know. We don't get into it too big right now, but just the status, the future of the mall itself. I mean, a lot of people are just kind of up in the air right now. Nobody really knows what's going on. Which I assume that the plan is still to keep it a mall. But I don't know. I don't know much more than you guys. So, but let's hope that is the plan. Because I would, like I've said before, I would hate for it to be, leveled and turned into a mega church or something, because that's what I can see happening, unfortunately. But yeah, man, definitely. And like I said, you see me there, or shoot me a message, shoot me an email, say, hey man, where you want to meet up at the the fucking food court or something. Like, hell yeah, man, let's hang out. Because Larry's mentioned this before. There's nothing better than hanging out with somebody who's there for the first time, like who's experiencing it all for the first time, because I get to kind of live vicariously through you and be like, oh yeah, like that's the hallway, where they run down, and absolutely, for you guys that are going to be coming for the first time, make sure you take Larry's tour, because you're getting into some spots that it may be the last opportunity that you get a chance to experience, but you're going to get access to some spots that you won't be able to otherwise, and spots that are pretty much exactly how they were in the movie. So you're feeling like, because a lot changes in the mall over the years. I mean, it's been 4 or 5 years. There's going to be some changes, some what they call upgrades or updates, but the spots behind the scenes, in the bowels of the mall, those are the spots that really never change, because they really have no reason to. So yeah, definitely take Larry's tour, Robert. Down is up, highly recommended. Matt saying I got all sentimental about it and was reaching out to Larry too. I really hope this isn't it. Yeah, Larry's probably like, he's like, oh goddamn, these people. It's okay. He's kind of like it's kind of like Leslie Nielsen in The Naked Gun, when the fucking fireworks stands blowing up behind him, and everybody's like, there's nothing to see here. Go home. Nothing to see here. And it's just blowing up and going crazy behind him. People are running back and forth. That's how I picture it in my mind. Matt saying, cool watching Simon Eddy perform the score to Demons live. Yeah, that's one. Finally getting to see Simon Eddy's Goblin this year with Will. Seeing him play the Demons live, the version that they do is really fucking cool. But seeing them do that live, because I've always liked the score for Demons, the theme, that's a fucking killer song. But I appreciate it a lot more after seeing him play it live with his band. Like I fell in love with that fucking song after seeing it live. I was listening to it a lot, to the point where, like, I would just have it on, like, it's just one of those songs that's been on kind of repeat lately. Like when you do DJ X or whatever on Spotify, that'll usually pop up. So Larry's saying, I will say this, if things can't happen in Monroeville Mall for whatever reason, things might have to go back to Evans City. where else would be better? I say nowhere else would be as good. I fully agree with that. I know Evan City's a smaller place, but I will say going to Evan City for the October show a couple of years ago, the Steam Fitters place. I forget what it was. Steam Fitters or the Steam Fitters Event Center or whatever the hell it's called. That place it's smaller, and it wouldn't have the same, obviously, the same aura and the same feel of being in the mall. Um, but it's a really nice building, a really nice location. So I'd be fine with that. I mean, I thought that worked fine. Like I said, it's a smaller venue, but it's better than nothing. Uh, and with it being in Evans City, you're surrounded, it's not technically in Evans City, I guess, but it's close enough to where you're surrounded by the cemetery and pretty much the entire set from the Crazies, and so I mean, I would be for that. I mean, it's better than nothing. Like I said, it's better than nothing. And I'll say this: like going to that October show, I only went to one of the October shows, and it was the last one that they did a couple of years ago, and that was my one and only time going, and going in October in Pittsburgh is fucking awesome to begin with. But I still it was a great time because it felt more intimate, I guess, because of the smaller venue. But that's totally fine. I mean, everything was right there. I would have no problem with that. I'd be cool with that, actually. Blake saying I'm looking forward to 20 years later. I will say, like, that's probably the one movie that I'm looking forward to the most in 2025. Because everybody knows I'm a huge 20 Days Later fan. Like, that's one of my all-time favorite horror movies. It's been forever since I've seen 28 Weeks Later. But I remember liking it. It wasn't as groundbreaking or as inspiring to me as the original, but it wasn't a bad movie. I remember that. I remember coming out thinking like, oh, that was a pretty good horror movie, but not great. So yeah, I don't know. With all these, all the years that have gone by, and is will they have lost the plot? Maybe, because I mean, it's not really. Usually when a movie gets a sequel like this years and years after the fact, after the most recent one, it's usually because there's a marketing aspect to it. Like there's a character that they can market, like a Michael Myers or something like that. 20 people like 28 Days Later when it came out. Like it was a pretty big deal when it came out, I remember. But it wasn't like one that like I don't feel like a studio would just say, "Oh, let's make another one of those and make a quick buck." So the fact that they're doing another one kind of tells me that the filmmakers kind of wanted to do another one. So that's encouraging to me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to 28 Years Later. I'll definitely be going to the theater to check that one out this year for sure. Awesome. Ed's saying unless something pops up, I'll make the trek this year. Yeah, you absolutely should, man. Because I mean, a fan like you, I mean, like just go once, like just make it just so you can say you did, man, because it's really freaking cool. Like even just being in Pittsburgh, you kind of feel Romero all around you. Like I remember when we first got to Pittsburgh, one of the first things we did, we checked into our hotel, and then for some reason, like the closest thing to our hotel was the Permane Brothers. It was like, maybe a block away. So we're like, oh shit, well, let's go check this. It's a local Pittsburgh thing. Walk into Permane Brothers. The first thing I see when I walk in is a painting of George Romero on the wall. I'm like, I looked at my fiance. I was like, I'm fucking home. Like, this is where I want to be. Like, this is awesome. Like, I know, pre-knowledge that would be there, but it's like, because the whole wall was just like a mural of like famous Pittsburghers and stuff. But the one that's like right there when you first walk in, right across the room, is fucking. There's George, no mistaking it. So yeah, man, that's awesome. That's definitely awesome. We'll definitely have to hook up and hang out while you're in too, man. Down is up saying yes, WGN TV. You got to keep it going. I think there's an urge to. I don't think the show would go away just because Kevin or they're just not into it anymore, or it's a real big money losing thing. I don't know the financials of it. I don't know how much they make, or if they just break even, or if it's just they do it for the love. They'll take a little bit of a loss just to keep it going. I don't know. Knowing the kind of business mind that I've always heard Kevin has, I do think I will say it's probably pretty financially I wouldn't say like he's getting rich off of it or anything, but I don't think he's working at a loss. So I think if it's something that he wanted to continue to do, I think they'll find an alternative. Um, but it's just gonna it's hard to beat, having a convention in the fucking Dawn of the Dead mall. Like that's there. I don't know. It's the perfect venue for horror movie fans for sure. John Villos saying it may be me being naive, but I'm not concerned. Okay, that's what I want to hear, man. Let me know. Tell me why you're not concerned. I think if they see how popular it is, I can't see why they wouldn't want it. Yeah, I fully agree with that. Actually, I wanted to speak on that here in a minute too. Why would they not want people in their mall? That's a good point, especially in a time. At a time where people aren't going to malls, where malls are like begging people, like, hey, look, there's come throw axes, and they're putting anything they can in these malls to get people to fucking come, um, because I don't know, shopping isn't doing it anymore. So now there's the axe throw place. There's all laser tag. Like they're filling these malls just anything they can. They're just like anybody, come please. So the fact that this mall has a built-in audience and once a year a boom to their business by having all these people come from all over the world to the mall. Like, what other mall can you think of where people will travel from all over the world to visit once a year, and not just once, but they'll come back. Like me, like I will come back every year. Um, I don't know, but you don't know what these people think. They may just look at it as like, we don't want to be associated with this, because you got to remember, like the owners that owned the mall before the most recent owners, the one that just sold, they didn't really want anything to do with Dawn of the Dead or any of the fans either. They were not too kind to people that asked questions or wanted to take pictures or take video or anything like that. So it is possible. I mean, it's just it depends on the mentality of the new owners. It's they may just say we don't want to be associated with it. We're going in a different direction. Like we have our own ideas, our own plans. So I don't know. It just depends. But I don't know. I'll touch on it in just a second. I'm going to read Kevin's full thing so everybody kind of has the whole story and has the whole, where we stand as of now, especially for this year's event. Matt St. John, I feel the same way. If they're not already familiar with the amount of foot traffic the event brings, they'll see this year for sure. I hope so. That's my hope. That's best case scenario for me. Larry said new owners could possibly want something totally different in that spot. That's true. Anything is possible, really. The event would not be the minor deciding factor for anything on that property, just being honest. Yeah, I mean, well, to me, it just comes down to dollars and cents. I think if the new owners kind of buy this, and I feel like if they made the offer and bought them all, they kind of knew about it already. But I think if they had like a firsthand experience, like if they saw the books, because they're, money's the only thing they're going to really give a shit about. If they see the books and they're like, oh, okay, so 2025 after we bought this and we kind of let things go and they had that event, but it's like, holy shit, there was like in terms of sales or whatever, there was a big spike in June all of a sudden. I mean, it would do nothing but help the cause, but yeah, I mean, they then again, they just may not care. They just, all right, we have our own vision. We're going to do our own thing. And it's just, we don't want to be the zombie mall anymore, I guess. I don't know. Matt's in doing the hero hallway run again with my kid this year. Yeah, you got to, man. He's may have trouble keeping up with him this year. We'll have to swap sides this time since he's taller than me now. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You'll have to. You're now the Roger character. He's the Peter of the duo now. John says I was under the impression that they were still looking to keep it a mall. Yeah, I mean that's the impression that I got too. But I don't know. I don't know. You never know. I don't know what the fuck their plans are, what they want to do with it. Kind of just waiting for an official announcement or something about it from the owners. Like, oh, here's the new ownership, because I would like to know who the new owners are and just kind of look into what they've done and previously to kind of get an idea of maybe what they're looking to do. But knowing our luck, it was probably BlackRock or somebody like that's bought the mall and they're gonna turn it into they're going to bulldoze it and turn it into overpriced condos or something. Larry says the new owners could do anything with their property. The event would not be a major deciding factor in what they do, just being honest. Yeah, but like I said, it couldn't hurt. Couldn't hurt. Little persuasion can go a long way sometimes. Michael, what's up, man? Michael Rashpal's in the house. My trip to Evans City and Pittsburgh will miss Living Dead weekend, but I'm still pumped to explore all the sites. Plus, my research seems to indicate Pittsburgh is awesome. Well, your research is right. Pittsburgh is awesome. It sucks that you won't be there for Living Dead weekend, man. But just the fact that you're making the trip and getting to experience Evans City, Pittsburgh, Monroeville, just getting to experience Western Pennsylvania, because I mean it's one of those things, like you see all the scroll down here at the bottom, all these names, like these are just names of towns that when you're watching the movie, you're just like, oh, okay, Newcastle, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, obviously, Sharon, Pennsylvania. It's like you see these names on the rescue stations on Night of Living Dead. So the names of these towns are in your head, but when you actually get there and when you see a sign for like, Butler, Pennsylvania, or Youngstown, Pennsylvania, when you see a sign that says, Washington, PA, this way, you're like, holy shit, like I remember that fucking town. You feel like you've been there before for some weird reason. I don't know. But glad you're making the trip, man. Definitely glad you're making the trip. Larry's saying it's not that the new owners would not want people in the mall. They would want the opposite. They would want more. More might require a major reconfiguration. Just saying, progress is a thing. Yeah, that's true too. I mean, they want more people to visit the mall, and that could mean, big changes. Which I never got the vibe that, I've seen some dead malls. Like there's a lot of bad malls out there, but I've never gotten the vibe that Monroeville Mall was really, really struggling. I mean, there's I think there's been issues with crime and shit going on there, past few years. But outside of that, I mean, anytime I'm there, I mean, I guess maybe it's Living Dead weekend, but anytime I'm there, it seems like there's plenty of stores and people are that aren't associated with the convention whatsoever are still there shopping. So I don't know. I really don't know. I can't say on the aspect of how successful or struggling the mall is. I don't know. Larry said, I'm just putting ideas out there to think on. I do know a lot more than what I can say. Yeah, well, like I said, hopefully it'll all come out soon and we'll have some clarity soon. But I mean, this thing's kind of been picking up steam fast, because it wasn't less than a month ago that we got the news that the mall was up for sale, and then here we are. It's already been purchased, and plans are already in place. So I don't know, man. It kind of went fast, way faster than I thought. Like the sale and all that. Like I was like, oh man, I wonder how long this thing's going to be on the market. But literally, the night that I did that live stream talking about Monroeville Mall being up for sale, it was like later that night. It was like, oh, the listing has been taken down, and there could be potential buyers, and that's when you start hearing that there were, I think, 2 potential buyers at the time. So yeah, everything's moving just really fast right now. We're a lot is changing really quickly. John says, "Took your word on Birth of Living Dead. Never saw it before. While watching it, something surprising happened. When George does his New York voice, I burst out laughing, then immediately almost cried. See, because it hit me again. I would have loved to have met and talked to him for a bit. I never will. Can't blame anyone but me about that." Yeah, Birth of the Living Dead. I rewatched that again because I just got that on Blu-ray. Rewatched that again this week, and that's the one thing that really stood out to me. Like I remember telling, I've told the story about, showing it to my fiance for the first time. She was like, "Oh, I get why you like, George seems really sweet. Seems like the nicest guy in the world." And she would kind of put it all together for her. But watching it again, I was just reminded of just how fucking charming George comes across in that documentary. Like he comes across, it's peak George, and that he's funny. He's just seems like the nicest, coolest guy in the friggin' world. Like when he's telling the story about Vince Stravinsky building the bridge, he's like, "Oh yeah, there's this guy Vince Stravinsky, and he was, he was running a roller rink at the time, and we get to this house, and it's like, this would be the perfect location, but there's this fucking creek here, and we gotta wade across this creek every time." And Vince is like, I'll build a bridge," and god damn it, he built a bridge. I died laughing when I heard that. I was like, holy shit, that's hilarious. But yeah, George comes across so well in that documentary. I mean, there's aspects of that documentary that are a little weak, in my opinion. Like for one thing, like seeing the fucking the teacher teaching like the little kids about zombies and shit, like it's cool, like in the forefront of my mind. But when I'm thinking, like, I'm just like, is there really nothing, like we can't teach these kids cursive anymore? We got to teach them about zombies. But um, so that, there are aspects of it that are a little out there. But I think the documentary as a whole is a really interesting look at the making of Night of the Living Dead, and just kind of putting it into a social, I guess, a social political lens, which, I mean, Night of the Living Dead already is, and has been for years and years and years. But I thought the documentary does a good job kind of laying it out there for people that are kind of new to the movie. But yeah, George is fantastic in that documentary. So again, I highly recommend it. If you guys haven't checked out Birth of the Living Dead, it's on Amazon Prime. I'm pretty sure. Last I checked, it was. Um, definitely check out that documentary. It's really really entertaining. Down as up St. George was such a nice man. He was always open to talk and such with his fans. An incredible talent and human being. Yeah, I've never heard anybody have a bad story about George. I've never heard anybody say, oh, I met George and what an asshole. Like, I've never heard that from anybody. Everybody just glows about the times that they've met George and talked to George, myself included. Even though I made a complete fool out of myself and looked like the biggest nerd on the planet, and actually said the words, "I am your biggest fan." If you say that to Tom Savini's just gonna look at you and be like, "Okay, buddy." George was like, "Wow, really? Well, it's great to meet you." He made you feel comfortable being a nerd. I don't know. He made you feel comfortable nerding out, because I mean, it was the one time that I just couldn't help myself, and I was talking to myself the whole time up there, waiting in line. I'm like, don't say that, don't say that, don't sound too goofy, don't gush too much, don't blush, shit like that. And as soon as you get up there and you're face to face and he's looking at you and you're just looking at him and you're just like, I'm your biggest fan. It's something he probably heard like 1,000 times that day already. Yeah, nicest guy. Matt says, John, I've been going through a ton of audio commentaries with George lately and feeling the same way. Regret that I never met him. Big time. Yeah. Again, and it goes back to what we were saying a minute ago about, visiting the Monroeville Mall and going to Living Dead weekend. It's like, enjoy it while it's here. Because you never know. You never know when will be the last time, or when, you look back one day and regret it. It's like, goddamn, of all the things I did with my life, the one thing I didn't do is I didn't go to that fucking mall in Pittsburgh. I didn't want to come to that one day. So I finally just said, fuck it, we're going. Especially after COVID, I was like, fuck it, we're going. I got to get out of here. Larry says, I can say a large turnout this year would greatly help the new owners to see what the hubbub is all about, and it would help things in the future no matter what. That is 100% true. And really, that's the best thing that we can do as fans, because we'll go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna read Kevin's whole statement here, so everybody's kind of on the same page, and then we'll kind of go into it. I'll get back to your comments here in just a second. Let me see if I missed any new folks on here. Here you go. What's up, Will? Save the fest. Save the fest. Save the fest. We're gonna start that. We're gonna start putting up. We're gonna start putting up flyers and all that. We're gonna take it. Take up the cause. Damn it. Whatever the hell I'm trying to say. We're good to see you, man. Let me see here. Let me get you guys' comments real quick. Robert says, last people involved didn't stop it, so these new people won't stop it either. Whether they want it to be a zombie mall or not, it is. Deal with it. I mean, that's that. I don't know. You get in touch with some of these corporate types, and sometimes they don't give a shit. They're just like, we are what we are, and we have our ideas and our plans, and we're going through with it no matter what. So, yeah. It's St. Vince McMahon bought them all. Just watch. Shit. So if somebody like Vince McMahon bought them all with all that fucking money, I mean, he ain't gonna be around too much longer. So I don't know who the hell he's gonna pass it on to. Linda. He's gonna pass it on to fucking Stephanie. Michael saying, off topic, what's your favorite Dawn of the Dead commentary? Mine is the cast commentary they did for the European cut. Okay, I'll hit on this because this is a tough one for me, because there's so many good Dawn commentaries out there. I love the cast commentary for the European cut. That one's a lot of fun. Like that's probably the one, if you want to have the most fun listening to a commentary, that's probably it. My personal favorite, though, god damn it, that's That's a tough one because man, the Savini Christian Stavrakis commentary on the UK DVD release back in the day, like that's fun because they're just sitting there just bullshitting, smoking cigarettes, and talking about Dawn of the Dead because it was like the late '90s, so it was just the fucking Wild West back then. The original commentary on the Laserdisc, the Elite Laserdisc, with George, Christine, and Tom. That one's a lot of fun because you're hearing dogs barking in the background, and it's the early days of audio commentary, so it's just there was no real structure to it. Because like when they did that commentary again later for the Dawn of the Dead release in 2003, the Anchor Bay release, they had Perry Martin kind of moderating it to kind of keep everything on track to ask the questions and stuff like that, which is fine. Like that's a great commentary. That's the first commentary I ever heard for Dawn of the Dead, and I've listened to it 1,000 times. But the one on the original Elite Laserdisc, that one's the most fun because it's off the walls, and it's still like early to mid '90s, so it's still at a period where they didn't know a lot. Like they were kind of forgetting, who everybody was and what happened when, and they're just like, what the hell happened here? Like I don't who is that? Who the hell is that? Who the hell is Jim Fang? That type of shit. So that one's always fun. I don't know. There's so many good ones. I love the Richard Rubenstein commentary on the extended cut as just like a student of like wanting to know about the movie, like learning new things about the movie. That one's pretty goddamn good. But yeah, I think out of all of them, I'd have to go with that very first that original commentary with George, Tom, and Christine on the Elite Laserdisc. That's probably my favorite Don commentary out of all of them. Which is one that I didn't hear for years and years and years. It actually wasn't until maybe 3 or 4 years ago when I first heard that one. Larry says everything I say here is a huge unsaid component. I'm not really posting conjecture as others would. I know way too much. Well, I mean, if you want to let anything slip, we're all friends here. we won't ratchet out. But yeah, I understand, man. It's all cool. Like I said, we're like I said, we're riding by the seat of our pants on this thing. So, like saying when I made the trip in early 2001, the mall had strict security with no camera policy. Yeah, I've heard that a lot. Where security, if you're trying to take pictures or video or anything, security will come and tell you to stop. And if the old owners, I always heard like if they felt like you were there for the movie and you wanted to do the slide down the escalator or ride the elevator or anything, like if they felt like you were not there to shop, they were quick to tell you to fuck off. So yeah, I mean it's possible. Some companies are just like, we don't want to be involved. We don't want to be associated with a horror movie. Okay, so Births on Tubi. Okay, Births on Tubi as well. Let's check it out. Yeah, that's the dream, Robert. Maybe they'll embrace it and want to expand it somehow. That's the dream. Like my dream is that they rebuild the clock tower and put it back in the in the clock tower square, whatever the hell they call it now. That's my dream. Bring back the clock tower. That's all I ask from the new owners. Just bring back the clock tower. Yeah, that one's a good one too, Matt. The zombie commentary with Lee Carr, Mike Gornick, and Tom Dubinsky. Yeah, that one's on the French release here. Not too long ago. It's only been a few years since that one came out. Lots of good info on that one. Yeah, I mean, any commentary with Mike Gornick and Tom Dubinsky's, there's going to be a lot of information there because those guys probably know the most. Or remember the most because I know Tom Dubinsky still has a lot of the old call sheets and notes and journals and shit that he was keeping at the time. So, and they were there for everything. John says, as a nerd, the Gornick Dubinsky one, as a fan, the cast one. There you go. I think that's a pretty good. Although we'll say, like, as the Rubenstein one is just as interesting. Just hearing Rubenstein talk about the business side of getting Dawn made and the distribution aspect and stuff like that. That's where I learned a lot of that stuff for the first time. I was hearing that commentary on the Ultimate Edition box set. Down is up once the ice rink back. I'll second that. I got my skates back there. If you can see the old Ice Palace skates that I bought. So I'm ready for that. I don't know if they'll fit, but I'll try. Fuck it. So So yeah, so for those of you that missed it, I think it was on Friday, a couple days ago, on the Living Dead Weekend Facebook page on Facebook. Kevin Christ finally made a statement about the status of this year's Living Dead Weekend 2025 and kind of hinted at the future of what to expect going forward. And like I said, this thing has moved really, really fast. Like I said, less than a month ago, we were finding out, holy shit, the mall's up for sale. And then almost immediately, the listing disappeared and it was purchased by new owners. And so it's kind of been up in the air of what's to expect. I see people comment a lot of the times on the Facebook pages of like, oh, where's the event going to take place? Is the event still happening? Because they'd kind of paused guest announcements or anything like that here recently, which you could tell by Friday. They announced 3 new guests. We'll talk about here in a second, but so it's kind of been up in the air. We weren't really too sure what was going to happen with this year's event, but Kevin Christ came out, put out this statement, and it sounds promising for 2025 at least. So I'll read it now. We'll go through it. Living Dead Weekend 2025 important announcement. Plans for our June 6th through 8th, 2025 event inside the Monroeville Mall are coming together. As you probably heard, the mall is being sold, and new owners will be in command before Living Dead Weekend. Today, we got the official contract that Living Dead Weekend is approved by new management to happen this year, status quo. So basically, I think that just means that everything's going as planned. The tours are still going to happen. Larry's tours are still going to be happening. The photo ops, it's going to go ahead as it has in years previously. So that's good, because that was a big thing. Because I know me, Will, Matt, we were kind of throwing the idea around, maybe taking Larry's tour one last time, just in case it is the last time that we get to do it. And I think Will was like, well, is the tour going to go on? Like, are the new owners cool with people, wandering around the back hallways and shit? It's like, I don't know. I think so, but let me double check on that. But yeah, it's going ahead as planned, status quo, tours, panels, everything. So that's good news. However, and this is Kevin's statement. However, not me. We have not been cleared to continue the event in the same manner in the future beyond this year. It's not saying that it's not going to happen, but they haven't been cleared for it. So new owners have plans that may not align with ours. Rest assured that we will be working with them ongoing to find a place for us in their plans, but the possibility exists that this may be the final Living Dead weekend inside the historic Monroeville Mall. We have many guests to announce, and we will begin immediately to make announcements on a regular basis. VIP tickets are currently over half sold out, so it is important, if you want one, to not delay, as they will sell out. We will have no ability to accommodate extra. So yeah, I got my VIP tickets, bought mine the other day. I know Will bought his, Matt's bought his. I've heard from quite a few people that they went ahead and bought the VIP tickets for this year. So if you're wanting to go and you're wanting the VIP tickets, which I think they're $150, but they come with the VIP mixer party on Saturday night. You get access to everything, early entrance, all, a grab bag full of goodies, all pretty much access to any and everything except Larry's tours. That's extra. But if you want to, I would go now and go ahead and secure yours, because there's a limited space, and over half were sold at this point. And I know a bunch of people have bought theirs since. So, so yeah, I would definitely jump on that as quickly as possible if you're planning on buying the VIP tickets. Vendor spaces are almost full, but many have applied and not completed payment. Spaces are not being held without payment, so please complete this if this applies to you. We have a bit more available. We have a bit more available for vendors to apply, since I don't know if that's written correctly, many have not yet paid. Space is limited, and we will likely shut off applications much earlier than past years. So if for any vendors out there, get in now. I am beyond relieved that we were able to move forward with this year's event status quo after a few anxious weeks of concern. We will put everything we have into this one to make it the best yet. Thank you, Kevin Christ, Living Dead Museum. And then details, tickets, vendor info are all here at www.thelivingdeadweekend.com. So there it is. I mean, 2025 is happening as planned. They did announce 3 new guests for this year. Of course, this year's the 40th anniversary of Day of the Dead. So they had already announced previously, which before the mall was even up for sale, they had already announced Lori Cardille, Terry Alexander, and Jarlath Conroy. So the three big ones from Day are going to be there. And then Friday, they announced there will also be Howard Sherman, Bub, which I'm excited about because I've only met Howard Sherman once. And it was back in 2008, Texas Frightmare Weekend, first convention I ever went to. That was the only time I ever met Howard Sherman. So I'm excited to see Howard Sherman. Tom Savini has been announced, as well as, who's the third one? Howard Sherman, Tom Savini. What the fuck am I forgetting? Fuck, I had it on top of my head. That's why I didn't write it down. Eugene Clark. How the fuck can I forget Eugene Clark? Big Daddy himself. Keeping the love flame burning. Everybody loves Eugene Clark. Come on now. Because, I mean, it's, believe it or not, the 20th anniversary of Land of the Dead. So we may have a couple of more Land of the Dead guests being announced for this year as well. But so yeah, we are getting Living Dead Weekend is happening this year, 2025, at the Monroeville Mall as planned. But beyond that, we don't know. It's kind of up in the air. And like we've been talking about tonight, a strong showing for Living Dead Weekend this year could go a long way for future plans to keep the event going forward. Or it may not have a bearing on it at all. They may just say, hey, we got one, this is your last year, and then after that we're going in a different direction, and the mall's going in a different direction, and it is what it is. But the best thing that we can do, really the only thing we can do as fans, I mean, I guess we could petition shit like that, but like I said, these are business people, and most of the time business people are only going to understand dollars and cents. They're going to understand the bottom line of it. Is it financially viable for them? Do they have a financial interest in allowing this to go on in their mall once a year, every June? And the only way that they're going to see that, I mean, is if they see a boom in foot traffic, in sales, and in anything. If it's something that they can say, hey, look, we can rely on this once a year to kind of boom sales a little bit. Like, why not? So I mean, the best thing that we can do as fans, that are to everybody that's going this year, is to spend a little money at the mall. Show the new owners that, hey, like, this is a benefit to you guys to host this every year, to allow this to go on. Because you don't know who these people are. They may think like all horror fans, they're going to come and they're going to be, gutting a live pig in the middle of the mall, and who fucking knows what's going to go on. So just to show them that, like, oh, it's a benefit to you guys to kind of embrace this, kind of let it go on beyond 2025. Spend a little money. Go to JCPenney's, buy you a shirt, buy you a new pair of shoes while you're there. Hit up the food court. Like, instead of leaving the mall for lunch, maybe just hit up the food court, hit up the Red Robin. There's a tattoo parlor right there at the mall. So go get a tattoo. If you guys, I know quite a few guys love tattoos, go get a tattoo while you're there. Because if nothing else, I mean, even the storefronts could go to the new ownership and say, hey, like, we do pretty good in June when they have this thing. Like, we don't understand it really, but we make a little bit of money in June. So it'd be kind of nice not to lose that. So I don't know, that's really the best thing that we can do right now. The only thing that we can do. But like I said, beyond that, who's to say? Who knows? Larry's, mentioned possibly doing it Evans City every year. I think that would work. I think that would be cool. I don't know if it would. I don't know if it would still have the same appeal to a wider audience as having the Living Dead Weekend, having a convention at the mall, because I know a lot of people go to that convention just because they've always wanted to go to the mall, and so it's kind of an excuse to do two things at once. Which, even if you have it at Evans City, you can always still go visit the mall and stuff like that. But it's still like a 45 minute drive in between Monroeville and Evans City. So it would be out of the way. So I don't know if it could be as big as the one in Monroeville, because I mean, Monroeville's fairly close to Pittsburgh, and I mean, we're talking, you're looking at the hotel situation, stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's the best thing we can do this year is pull out all the stops, and it could be the last hurrah at the Monroeville Mall. I don't know what happens to the mall going forward after this year with the new ownership. But I don't know. We'll see. What do you guys think? I know I'm happy to hear that John's kind of not enthusiastic, but more optimistic, I guess, than a lot of us are. But let's hope, because I'm of the same mind as him, where it's like I'm kind of on the same mind as him, where it's like business wise, it only makes sense to welcome people to the mall at a point in time in the world where malls are just not that popular, where people aren't going to the mall a whole hell of a lot anymore. So I don't know. That's just me though, but I'm a fan of the movie, so I look at it a little differently than I'm sure they do. But what do you guys say in the chat? John says the Rubenstein one always puts me to sleep. Must be his voice. I mean, yeah, Rubenstein does have a very relaxing, soothing voice. But yeah, I've always liked that one. That one was it is soothing. I will say that. I could see how it could lull you to sleep, but I just remember hearing that for the first time, and that was kind of getting a lot of the information about the financials and the behind the scenes of Dawn of the Dead. That was the first time I was hearing a lot of that stuff of how, hearing the budget for the first time, where he was like, oh no, it was actually, I always heard it was like $1.5 million. And that was always what I assumed. It was like, oh, $1.5 million, that makes sense. This movie looks like, yeah, probably about a $1.5 million budget. And when Rubenstein's like, oh no, it was probably closer to about 675,000 or whatever it was. I was like, what what? And he's like, yeah, we just kind of doubled it to kind of make it, because I guess his mentality was, and he was smart, his thinking was, if he told people that George made this movie for $675,000, then going forward, people putting no money are like, well, if you made Dawn of the Dead for $675,000, like that's all we're going to give you. Because I mean, how much more do you need than that? So when him telling, the financial backers that it's a $1.5 million budget, they're like, oh, okay, you did that for $1.5 million. We'll give you $3 for for whatever. So it's smart to the way that he did that there. I always thought. Anyway, Robert saying, what are the days for the event so I can ask for the days off at work? It's 6th through the 8th, June 6th through the 8th. It's that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Sunday ends a little early, so yeah, I'll be there. I think the plans are for me, I'll be there probably early Thursday. I don't know. It depends on how early I could leave from here in Evansville. But ideally, I would like to get there by like noon on Thursday and probably stay an extra day after the event, just to do a couple other things. But yeah, I'm planning on spending a few days there. Larry says Evans City would be the option if there was no more mall. Okay, so there you go. Then that's good to hear. I mean, I would love. It would just suck that there would be nothing. You know what I mean? Like if there was nothing else out there, because yeah, I go to different conventions and stuff like that, and I like going to them. They're fun. I like going to the vendors and the celebrities. I could really care less about 99% of them. But it's just good to go for a day and kind of, be around other weirdos like you and see some cool shit, some panels and whatnot. But there's just nothing like Living Dead weekend for me. Like that's that could be like a week long event, and I would be there every day. So it's good to know that if something does happen to the event at the mall, there is a plan to continue it, to keep it going into the future. I don't know what else I'd do with my time. John says, if the mall still exists, but they don't want the event there, isn't there the Expo Mart where they have the Steel City Con right there? Yeah, the Monroeville Convention Center, which was actually saved. They were actually about to turn that into a Hobby Lobby. If you remember last year, there was a whole thing where they were going to sell the convention center to Hobby Lobby, and they were going to put a new Hobby Lobby there. But I guess they had a petition and everything go through, and they decided against it. And I think the mayor stepped in at the last second, and so now we're going to keep this the convention center. But yeah, that would I feel like because I feel like the convention center, if they were to use the convention center, would probably mean more money for the organizers, Kevin and everybody. I think it would, and that would just mean more problems, more money, more problems, as everybody knows. More money to be involved. You'd probably have to get, spend more money to get some different, probably outside guests to come in, perhaps. I don't know, but I feel like that. I don't know if that is an option or if I'd want that to be an option because I kind of like it the way it is now. Because, like I said, even the one at Evans City and the Steam Fitter Center or whatever the hell it was, smaller venue, a little more intimate. Like that was fun as hell to me. Like I dug that. I don't need it to be. I don't need it to be Horror Hound. Like I that's what I love about it. It's not Horror Hound. Like it doesn't feel like one of these big corporate conventions, one of these big corporate cons, as I call them. It's more of a family atmosphere. It's more of like by the fans for the fans type of feel. And I feel like if they move to a bigger venue like a convention center or an expo center or whatever, you may lose that. And I think that might be an issue. So I don't know about that. I don't know how I'd feel about that. I mean, it would still be in Evans City, or not Evans City, but it'd still be in Monroeville and be right next to the mall. Because I mean, it's like literally the convention center's here, then the DoubleTree, and then the mall here. So it's like all right in the same little area. But I just don't know about that logistically, financially. I don't know how that would work out. Matt saying, speaking of Evans City, hoping for more night guests this year. I'm sure there will be. That's. I'm gonna try to open this beer without killing myself. Because I've had a habit here recently when I open, because Guinnesses, you gotta, pop them open. But I've had the issue recently. Every time popping these open, they just shoot up and hit me in the fucking head and almost kill me. There we go. It's like fucking champagne. What was I gonna say? What was the question? Hope for more night guests this year. I'm sure there will be. I'm sure the regulars will be there. I'm sure John Russo will have a booth there. And Russ hopefully will be there. I hope to see all the regulars there. But John, get to work. See if we can bring in any new guests this year. I'd love to see Sharon back. I'd love to have Sharon back again this year. For everybody that didn't get to meet her last year, because I know Matt wasn't there last year, so that would be Matt's first opportunity to meet Sharon. What a sweet lady! Like what was the nicest, coolest lady? She was so pumped. She was just like, "This is so fun! Like this is so cool." I had no idea that this was a thing. I didn't know people gave a shit. I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh?" Robert says they're not going to destroy a tradition that's been going on since 1978. It will be okay. I don't know. Like I said, the mall was owned at one point by a group that wasn't too keen on the movie and really didn't, embrace it too damn much. So that's kind of been the nice thing about the most recent owners is that they kind of did kind of open the doors because I guess smartly they kind of realized like, oh, malls are kind of in decline. Let's kind of play into this angle that, this opportunity that we have to kind of embrace a new clientele basically and not push them away, not scare them off, So hopefully the new owners kind of see it that way too, but we'll see. Matt saying, John, I think it's the Monroeville Convention Center where they do Steel City Con. Yep, that's it. It's right next to the DoubleTree. Larry saying Expo Mart is too big and expensive. There you go. Not worth it for us. Not really an option. There you go. That's that's the thing. Like to keep Living Dead Weekend what it is, you kind of got to keep it small and keep it, like I said, like a family atmosphere. It's got to be kind of a group effort because I don't want to see it. Like I have nothing against Horror Hound or Days of the Dead or any of these other bigger conventions. They do big money and they're popular as hell. And when you go, it's you're dick to butt crack and there's no it's hacked. And I'm sure they make a ton of money doing it, but it's a lot of risk. It's a lot of work. And I don't know. I don't want that. I don't want that kind of experience, I guess, selfishly. I'm sure if Kevin thought that he could make a shit ton of money doing it that way, maybe, but I don't think he really wants to even take that risk. And why would he, And John says, I wasn't sure. I know they had enough for the Jamboree, even though they lost money. There you go. Perfect example. Zombie Jamboree in 93 lost money. I don't know if it was because of the Expo Center, but I mean, I'm fucking surprised that conventions made any money back in the day, because back in the day people were signing shit for free, $5. Like, it didn't seem like there was a real business aspect to it. A lot of those conventions back in the day were run by fans who didn't give a shit about making money. They were just interested in putting on a convention and putting on a show that they would want to attend, which is great. I mean, those are usually the best type of ones to go to. But especially these days, Steel City Con, perfect example. I mean, they're so big, and it's such a big business now. Horror conventions are such a big business, and then they've gotten that way over the last 10 years since The Walking Dead. I mean, The Walking Dead's kind of what took horror conventions, because even the one Texas Frightmare weekend 2008, when I went to that, like, I remember I got everybody. I went to everybody's table and got so many. It was still affordable, and it was still, but man, and the past 10, 15 years or so, I mean, we're talking some of these like Robert Englund or, some of these guys, you go up to the table, it's like, oh, $200 for an autograph. If you want a photo, it's $250. If you want it personalized, it's an extra $50. Like, it's getting so crazy and out of hand. But at the same time, the flip side of that is these conventions are getting bigger and bigger guests, bigger and bigger names, and these bigger and bigger names, the bigger celebrities are starting to see, oh shit, like, so and so went and did Horror Hound last weekend and made 50 grand, 100 grand, whatever the hell it is. I don't know the prices that these people charge, but I'm sure they're making a pretty good fucking bit of money because there's people out there that are paying it. So yeah, that's kind of the flip side of the coin on that aspect, is that it is becoming a bigger business, and there's more money being brought in, more money being spent. But at the same time, it's attracting bigger guests, because the bigger guests are kind of seeing like, oh, this is financially viable for me. Like, if I'm not getting acting work like I was 20, 30 years ago, just go fucking sit down and sign my name for 3 days, and then there we go. Like, why not? So yeah, I kind of see both sides of that. Larry said, Matt, a nicely sized night thing is going to happen. Oh, there's a tease. I'm gonna find out more about that. John said, I already sent an email to Jim this morning. There you go. Make it happen. Let's go all out. I mean, that's the big thing. Let's pull out all the fucking stops, man. And Larry, if you need help with anything, if you need anything from me, let me know. I'll help out any way I can. Like I told you, hopefully the VIPs sell out pretty quickly. I want fucking Larry's tours to sell out. Every single damn one of them. Sell out those fucking tours, because it's worth every damn penny of it. And especially if this is going to be the last year that he's able to do it. So yeah, let's let's make this a big fucking deal, man. Let's do it. And let's that's how I feel. Like, I was messaging Larry the other night. I was like, I'm really invested. Like, that's how I was feeling at the time. Like, Friday night, man, I was fucking pumped. I was like, let's fucking get after this. Like, let's make this happen. Let's make this a big thing. Let's show the new owners like what that it's a plus. It's a positive, or at least do our best, Larry says, yes, it's the Monroeville Convention Center. Too big, too expensive. There you go. Matt saying, excellent. Still haven't met Judith O'Day. That would be a big one for me. That would be a good one. I would love to. Judith is great. I've met Judith twice, and both times were awesome. 2008, I met her at the Texas Frightmare weekend in Dallas, and I remember met her, took a picture with her, and it was back when we had the old fucking like flip phones. So it was like, really shitty fucking pictures. Took a picture with her, said thanks. Got back to the hotel that night, looked at the photo, and it was awful. Like, it was just blurry. You couldn't tell what the hell what it was. I mean, it was bad. So I went back the next day just thinking like, oh, maybe she'll take another one, maybe if I pay her, an extra fee or whatever. I went up to her table and I was like, hi, Miss O'Day, and she looked at me, she was like, oh, hey, Michael. It's like, holy shit, you remember my name? And I was blown away. Like, my cousin was there with me. My cousin Justin was there. And he just, after we left, walked away from the table after taking the picture, got a good picture finally. After we left, he looked just like, dude, she remembered your name. I was like, I know, like that's really fucking cool. So when I met her again, I guess it was last year, the last Evan City show that they had, the Night of Living Dead reunion. Um, when I met her there, I told her that story because before that, the person she was talking to in line before that, she was complaining. She was like, "Oh, I'm getting older and I'm having trouble. I have trouble remembering names and all this stuff." So I was like, "It's funny you say that, like, because the only other time I've met you, like, you remembered my name a day after the fact and just made my fucking weekend." So she was tickled to death to hear that. So yeah, Judith is awesome, and the whole time she was sitting there. I was standing there like waiting. I was going to get her to sign my Night of Living Dead action figure that I have of her. And I'm waiting, and guy leaves, and then all of a sudden, Dick Heckard comes over, and they just start chopping up and cutting up and having fun and telling stories and all this. And it was about 15-20 minutes that I was just standing there just watching. They were just kind of sharing a moment there. I think Dick was kind of little flirtatious, if I may say so, with Judith, which I don't blame him. I mean, she's still a beautiful, beautiful woman. Uh-oh. Hold that thought. Zombie Historian has come in to tonight's chat with a big super chat. So, Zombie Historian, this is for you.
You never know.
Money, money, money.
Zombie Historian coming in with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, my man. I appreciate it. That's 2 weeks in a row, man. I'm not worthy. Thank you so much. It says I went to the event 5 or so years ago, hoping to go this year. Let's see Peter and Flyboy loot the bank. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. I hope you get to make it this year, man. If you get to go, like I've been saying, hit me up, man. Let's all. I told this to Will the other day. I was like, everybody that watches the show, if you guys are going, if you're, you follow the channel and all that, like, let's all fucking get together. Let's go to a bar or something. Hell, I don't know. Let's all just get together and chat and meet each other. Like that's what I love about doing this, is just getting to chat with you guys, meeting new people and making new friendships. So hell yeah, man. Let's do it. But thank you so much, man. It's always good to see you in here. I appreciate it, my man. So yeah, let's see. John was saying I texted Sharon on her birthday and asked if we could post about it in the group. I still can't wrap my head around it. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, she just how old did she turn here recently? Not to put her business out there, but yes, a big happy birthday to Sharon. Where I was saying it still survived. Yeah, that's true. Even after the previous ownership, people were still it wasn't deterred. That's for sure. Which I don't know. I don't know if it ever will be, even if they change it, because that's the thing too. It's like you don't know what these owners are planning on doing. Are they going to do some major reconstruction on this mall? Because there are parts of the mall that are dated. There are parts of the mall that the loading docks, we love it, but to a new owner, they're going to look at the loading docks and say, "Wow, that looks really dated. Like we need to rearrange that. We need to do something different there." And they could do. I mean, they were doing construction on it a few years ago at Living Dead Weekend. So yeah, I mean that's the big thing too. Like if you want to visit the mall, like the mall has changed a lot over the years, like I said, but there's still quite a few spots in the mall that are very, reminiscent of what it looked like back when they shot the movie. The loading dock entrance, that whole parking lot, everything out there, the hill coming down to it, like you're standing there. It's like, fuck, I'm in the movie. Like it's awesome. That's where Larry's tours begin, because that's the perfect spot. That's that's the entrance that I go into the mall every time I'm there. Like that's the entrance. So they may see it differently and say we need to upgrade this. We need to do something different here, or we need to, God forbid they're just like, oh, we got to get rid of George's bust. Like George's bust can't be here anymore. You never know these things. Like you just don't know. There's so many little odes and nods to, there's the painting on the wall. There's the the framed photo of George and Dario by the fountain. There's still it has all its little nods to Dawn right now that the new owners may just say, get rid of this. We're going in a different direction. We want the mall to be something different. Or like I said, it could be they could just I don't know. I'm just assuming that they're going to keep it a mall. Like I said, they could take this fucking mall and turn it into an apartment complex for all I fucking know, which might be a close second for best possible scenario. I would know where I would want to retire when I get older. It's like, fuck it, I'm moving to the mall, living in the mall, baby. That's where I'm living out the rest of my days. So yeah, we don't know what's going to change, because even like when the new owners or the owners previously, when they took over, they changed a lot. They got rid of the bridge, which you have to expect, because they're looking at it they're looking at it through a completely different lens than the way we're looking at it. They're looking at it as, is this modern? Is this, we're keeping up with the times? Yada yada yada. If we had our way, like I said, we'd bring back the fucking clock tower, we'd bring back the fountains, all the trees, bring back the fucking bridge, bring back the fucking brown derby. Like that's my dream. If I had the money to do it, man. if we only had the money. If you only had the money. TCC gay, TCC gay. My bad. TCCK gaming. What's up, man? Good to see you. Yo, what's up? It's me, TCCK. Yeah. TCCK, not TCC gay. I will not call you that. I apologize. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm going to the mall next spring with a long distance friend. Awesome. Really excited. Never been before. That's fucking awesome, man. Yeah, get to it and do it while you can. Because like we've been saying, there's no guarantees right now. So appreciate you stopping in, man. I'm glad you're finally getting a chance to visit. Is this long distance friend a romantic interest, by the way? Did you meet this friend on Tinder by chance? Just asking. John says Jamboree spent a lot on things like a cruise, having a Batmobile. Yeah, that's probably where it all went to. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, because it's crazy, because you got to think that Jamboree, they had Adam West there. Gunnar Hansen was there. I mean, it was like a lot of big names. I think was Kane Hodder. I think he was there too. But again, this was back in the time when they were still, $5 for an autograph, free photos. I mean, a lot of people weren't even charging. Like I've heard stories about Kane Hodder not charging anything for an autograph back in the day, and now it's like $80, $100, whatever it is. It's pretty sad. It says Starcast for Ric Flair's last match is the most chaotic convention I've ever been at. Like you said, dick to butt crack. Yeah, I can't imagine that one, because that was in Nashville, wasn't it? Or like probably right downtown Nashville, if I remember. 'Cause I know the event, the match itself was at the Municipal Auditorium, which is right downtown. So yeah, it's hard to beat fucking Horror Hound for me. Anytime I go to Horror Hound, like if you go to Horror Hound on a Saturday, like Horror Hound Cincinnati on a Saturday, forget it. Like you're not going to be able to do much. Like, if you want to look at vendors or anything like that, forget about it. Larry says, I can confidently say that any Dawn fan that ever wanted to see and visit the Monroeville Mall should see it now, this year. So there you go, from the man himself, who knows more. I'll say knows more about the situation than I do. He's telling you all right now, get off your fucking asses, get to Monroeville, and visit that mall while it's still there in whatever form that it's in. The future is definitely uncertain. There you go. '81. Sharon is 81 years young. Still very vibrant. Like she's like Tony Booba to me. Like they don't come off as 80-year-olds. Like she was very, very with it, very cool. Same with Tony, man. Tony, when I saw that Tony was like 80, I think he just turned 81. I was like, holy shit. Like, yeah, that makes sense. But you meet Tony in person, you don't think 80. I'll tell you that. Matt saying, Larry, you're making me think that there might be some serious remodeling or restructuring that's going to happen. That's possible. Yeah, that's a good point. Indoor malls are not something that works anymore. Indoor malls are not modern or something that works anymore. Food for thought. There you go. Okay. I don't like that. I don't like the sound of that. So there, even uh, further nudging to anybody that's on the fence about visiting the mall. Like, get there sooner than later. Like, that's the thing that about the Monroeville Airport. The airport, when I started hearing the stories about that being up for sale and being sold, and that there were plans for that, like, that's what kind of motivated me to say I got to get to fucking. It's always had a weird connection to that airport. Even the movie, it felt like a place I had been before. I don't know. Um, so when I started hearing all those rumors, I was like, fuck, I gotta get there. I gotta visit this airport first, like before it's too late. And I'm so glad that I did, because it was a couple of years later that it's not there anymore. It's not there is no airport anymore. Um, Michael had a question. Have you been to Toronto where Romero lived? I pay my respects once a year at his gravesite, as I live in Toronto. Well, that's awesome. I'd love to, man. I would love to make it up. I've never been to George's gravesite up in Toronto. I've always wanted to. Um, that's that's on the list of trips to make one day. But that's awesome. I'm glad you get the chance to. I've been thinking about, because I know it's been a year since David Imke passed away, and he's buried just right down the road from me. I've been meaning to go back out there. Me and Will went out there a few months back, and found where it was, and kind of paid our respects there for a little bit. But I'd like to go back for the 1 year um the 1 year anniversary of his passing, for sure. I was thinking about trying to do like a little live stream or something out there to kind of share it with you guys. But my phone is the shits. I have an iPhone 8. Okay, I don't know if you guys see that, how well you guys can see that phone there, how fucking what kind of shape my phone is in right now. But so I'll try to make it work if it can. But I'm just one of those guys that if I have something like this weekend, I broke my glasses. I don't know if you guys noticed, but these are a new pair of glasses. Broke my glasses yesterday, so I had to go today to get a new eye exam and get a new pair of glasses quickly. And it really pissed me off and bummed me out today. Like, I was just like, fuck these glasses. These are not my glasses. These don't feel right. Like, these, I don't know. It's like I get weirdly connected. Like, if something is mine, like, I'm gonna ride it until the wheels fall off. And my phone is a perfect example of that. I still have, the iPhone 8 here, which I think they're up to 16 now. So I don't know. Maybe it is time to upgrade the phone. But I think I just got that from my parents growing up. If we'd go out to eat, my parents would be like, all right, if we go to an all-you-can-eat buffet or something, if we go to Ryan's or a Chinese buffet, it's like, you better eat at least 3 fucking plates, because we got to get our money's worth out of this thing. Like, because this shit's, we don't have the money for this, so we're doing it. You better get your money's worth. So that's always been my mentality, get your money's worth type of thing. Anyway, I don't know. I went off on a random tangent about my phone and shit, but where were we? Robert saying, ask Trump to help out. He will make the art of the deal. I'll take anything right now. If anybody knows Donald Trump out there, tell him we the people have an issue. Let's see. John says, that's what I told her. I hope when I get there, I have the same amount of energy. And I don't think I'm getting there, buddy. I don't know about you. Just being honest, but I don't think I'm getting there. I don't think I'm getting to 80. I hope, obviously, but the way I feel these days, I'm thinking like, man, I don't know if I can do this for 40 more years. I tear an ACL every time I sit down to take a shit. So I don't know if you guys do that when you sit down. I don't want to get into this, but when you sit down, you hear your it sounds like the tendons in your knees stretching and popping, and it's just like, I don't know when that started, but I'm getting older. I'll tell you that. Matt says, yeah, it's becoming more and more apparent that this is an important year to visit. Sell out the VIP tickets and all the tours. Soak it up. Absolutely. And I think that's a perfect way to kind of put a cap on the conversation for now. I got another bit of news we can talk about here in a second. It's kind of depressing news too. But yeah, if you've ever been on the fence, if you've never been to Pittsburgh, if you've never visited, because I mean Pittsburgh, it's nothing but Romero locations. Like from any of his movies, just throw a fucking dart, like everything before Bruiser, I guess. But throw a fucking dart, and you're gonna come across them. Like I was just stumbling across shit from his movies while I was there visiting, just doing touristy things, and I was like, holy shit! Like I recognize this. Like, oh, this is the fucking the lift from There's Always Vanilla. I know that sound. This is the year to do it. This June 6th through the 8th, Monroeville Mall. This could be the last one at the mall. By the sound of it, sounds like it most likely will be. Make it happen. Get there. Let's all get together and have a time. And if like I said, if nothing else, best thing we can do is show the new ownership that hey, this is important. This is something worth keeping around. But it's in their hands, and like I said, they have their plans, they have their ideas. They're going to do what they want to do. So if nothing else, let's go out with a bang. If nothing fucking else, so yeah. I can't encourage it enough this year, guys. Robert says if you tell him you love him, he will do anything for you. You're great, Trump. Great, Trump. Let's do it. You're huge. Wouldn't that be something? Donald Trump steps in and threatens tariffs against the new owners if they change them all. They don't let Living Dead Weekend go on in the future. That's fucking hilarious. Matt saying quit those smokes and you might just make it to 80. Yeah, I don't know. You're probably right. I could go for a cigarette right now, actually. That's the thing we're talking about those commentaries. That's the thing about the Savini Stravakis commentary. They talk about smoking so goddamn much. Throughout that whole thing, they're just like, "Oh, let me get another cigarette. Do you have any more cigarettes? Oh man, we're almost out of cigarettes. We're gonna need more cigarettes." Then when I'm listening to it, I'm like, "Fuck, I want a cigarette right now." Let's see. Brett saying, I just consulted with the boss, my wife, and we are making the drive to Living Dead Weekend this year. Hell yeah, man. Tickets have been bought. It's a long drive. We'll be there for Sunday only, but worth it. Absolutely fucking hell yeah, man. I can't wait to meet you. You've been following the channel since pretty close to day one. We've always been in contact. So yeah, that's fucking awesome. Man. That's good to hear. Hell yeah, dude. This is Matt. Yeah, man, Sunday, hit me up. We'll, like I said, nothing better than, hanging out with a newbie there for the first time, seeing it all and experiencing it all for the first time. So definitely hit me up, man. And, we'll get together and can't wait to meet you. That's exciting news. Let's see. Brett's saying looking forward to the Sunday tour. We signed up for it. Awesome. Also looking forward to meeting you, Michael, and everyone else. Absolutely, man. It's been a long time coming for a lot of you guys. Blake said, I just sent Elon Musk a tweet to save Dawn of the Dead Monroeville Mall. Did you really? I want proof. If you did, that's fucking awesome. That's hilarious. That's a good idea. Let's do that, everybody. If there's nothing else we can do, let's go on Twitter and let's blow up Elon Musk's Twitter with save the Monroeville Mall, and you never know. Couldn't hurt. Robertson, don't get me wrong. I don't hate Trump. I just think it's funny. I mean, I don't hate Trump either. I don't hate anybody. I think but it is funny that it is true. A little flattery will go a long way with certain people. But Matt's saying I quit 13 years ago, but occasionally get the craving. Yeah, I need to quit. Christine Romero told me that I need to quit, and I was kind of like, I should listen to Christine Romero. And I quit. I did quit. I started smoking when I was 20, 19 maybe. because that's when I started drinking. And of course, when you're drinking, you're at a bar with your friends, and they start lighting up cigarettes. You're like, "Oh, let me try one of those." And it's like, "Oh, that's gross. Who wants to fucking do that?" And then you smoke another one because you're drunk, and you're like, "Ah, I want a fucking cigarette." Yeah. And then you wake up the next morning, you're like, "Oh man, that's terrible. I feel awful. Like, I can't breathe, and I got that weird taste in my mouth." Ah. And then you go out with your friends again. It's like, "Oh, let me get one of them cigarettes." And then it just grows from there. And then one morning you wake up and you're like, I could go for another cigarette. And then you're fucking hooked. So yeah, I did quit for 9 months there when I found that I was having my daughter. We were having Everly. I was like, as soon as I found out, I was like, no more. I quit. So for 9 months, I didn't have a cigarette. And then the night that she was born, I was so I don't know, just exhausted mentally and just feeling a certain way. I was just like, I need a cigarette, just one cigarette. And that was my first mistake, and I've been smoking ever since. So hopefully one day. I thought about using the little vapes, but I'm just like, if I'm fucking, that just looks, I don't know. Nobody looks cool. I don't know, fucking sucking on a vape. I don't know. And again, you look at my heroes in life, going all the way back. Like, I grew up around nothing. Like, that's the funny thing. People now freak out when people smoke, indoors anywhere. I grew up around nothing but cigarette smoke. My dad smoked in the house, in cars. My dad smoked. My mom didn't smoke, but my dad smoked. Both my grandparents smoked. My papa smoked. My granny smoked. In the house, indoors, like when you go to a restaurant back in the day, there was smoking, non-smoking. We would always sit in the smoking section. So I just grew up around fucking smoking my entire life. My dad eventually did quit. It's been about 10, 15 years now that he quit. So there is hope, I guess, but I just grew up around him my whole life. And then, my idols, my heroes growing up and now, I mean, you look at George, infamous chain smoker. Kurt Cobain was one of my huge idols in high school. He smoked. Tom Petty was one of my all-time favorite music. He smoked. So anytime you see, like, when you see people that you idolize and look up to and you think are the coolest fucking people in the world, you see them smoking, you're just like, oh, it's totally acceptable because George smokes, type of thing. And I'm sure George would slap me in the back of the head if he heard me say that. But anyway, that's our segment on smoking. That's the PSA for today, kids. Don't smoke. Don't start. Don't vape. Don't smoke. Don't do any of that shit. It's a waste of money. That's the biggest thing for me. It's a fucking waste of money. It's so expensive now. That says we all need to get on the same tour. That'd be rad. Yeah, let's plan that out, everybody. If you're doing Larry's tour, let's pick a day. We could do Sunday. I'd be down for Sunday. I think that would be cool, doing the final tour, possibly the final tour of the Monroe Mall for Living Dead weekend. I'm kind of down for that. Rob says there's nothing harder than quitting smoking. Yeah, man. I've heard people that got off fucking heroin that say, like, smoking is 10 times harder to quit than heroin. So I fully believe it. And I think it's just like drinking, like people that have drinking problems. It's socially acceptable. Like, smoking less now because people look at you like, oh, how dare you smoke outside? Like, people are trained to look down on it at this point. But it's more socially. It's not like you're fuck at this point. I don't know what I'm trying to. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if it's true or not. But people kind of look. It'd be like if somebody was shooting up on the streets, like on the sidewalk, people walking by. But now I feel like that's more acceptable than fucking lighting up a cigarette on the sidewalk now. So I don't know about that. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's easily accessible. They're at gas stations, and it is what it is. Larry says, ideally, we would want to make it to the 50th anniversary of Dawn in 2028 with events and the mall as it is, but it's really all up in the air as to what will be possible after this year. Yeah, that would honestly, if we make it, if we could make it to the 50th anniversary of Dawn of the Dead in 2028, and if that was like it, if that was the last one, if that was folding up the tent, and I could accept that. but I feel like we got to make it to that 50th anniversary of Dawn. We got to do something for the 50th, even if it's not, you know, Living Dead Weekend at the mall or something like that. There's got to be something for that, which I'm sure there'll be. You know, they'll have, you know, whoever is still available in 2028 from Dawn of the Dead to be, you know, your horror hounds, your scare fest, stuff like that. But there's just nothing like you know, like a Living Dead weekend or a festival specifically designated to these movies. And I know, unfortunately, this year is the final year for Weekend of the Dead over in the UK. So, so we're not. There wouldn't be anything else after after this year. We don't want that. Robert says I learned too that you can't have that first cigarette. I did that 15 years later. I'm still smoking. Yeah, it's that first one. I started dating a girl who smoked, and yeah, so she always had them around, and I was always just like, yeah, I had one. I'll have another one. It's not a big deal. Mayor, what's up, man? Good to see you. Mayor says they recently made my apartment building smoke free, but it didn't affect me since I don't smoke. There you go. That's the thing too. It's like us smokers are treated like second class citizens these days. Damn it, it's unfair. John says I heard that too about quitting smoking being harder than quitting H. That was from someone on the live Nirvana forums. Yeah, I've heard. I've had friends like I know people that were addicted to opiates and heroin, shit like that have said that. They're like, yeah, I would much rather, like, I can't quit smoking. Like, I quit heroin, but I can't quit smoking. It's crazy. Down is upset. Yeah, I would want to take the tour with you and those on your channel. Well, absolutely, man. Yeah, fucking let's do it. Let's plan it. I'm down for the Sunday. If that's what Brett's doing, I'm down to do the Sunday because I mean that would be the final one, and let's all get together and go out with a bang if it is the last one. So yeah, I'm totally down for that. Let's make it happen. Bonnie says, I'm glad I never developed a smoking habit. I've seen family and friends struggle to quit. Yeah. It's not fun. And I was always the guy, like when I was in high school, that would always fucking bust my dad's balls about it all the time. I was like, Dad, quit smoking. Like, you got to quit smoking. Like, please quit smoking. Like, for Father's Day one year, I got him, like, you know, the fucking patches and stuff. Like, please quit smoking. And then he quit, and then I fucking start. And he gives me shit about that to this day. UB, what's up, man? Uncle Bill's in the house. Just joining on here. I'll have to go back and figure out what's going on with the mall. I'm assuming they don't want to continue Living Dead Weekend there. Pretty much the sum of it is 2025 is going on. So, I mean, I know you've never been, Uncle Bill. You need to get your ass to Monroeville, get to the mall because this could be the last one. 2025, it's a very big possibility that this is the last Living Dead Weekend at the Monroeville Mall. The new owners kind of have their own ideas of what they want to do at the mall going forward. I don't know if Living Dead Weekend is going to be in those plans or not. But like I said, the best thing we can do is just give it all we got and get as many people there and make it as big of a success as we can possibly make it, and make it a success for the mall and the stores in the mall. And, you know, hopefully maybe there is a future for it. But as of right now, I mean, it's looking like 2025 is possibly going to be the last year that we get it at the Monroeville Mall. So get your fucking ass, get your ass to fucking Pittsburgh, man. Like I said, Larry's tour. Take Larry's tour, man. You'll see the stairwell from Dawn, the fucking the engine room. I mean, all that shit looks exactly as it did in '77 when they shot that movie. Because I mean, that doesn't change much. Why would you need to change that stuff? Nobody cares. It's nobody sees it. Robert says I'm smoking in my car watching this right now. Yeah, that's a big thing too. Is like different. The addiction to smoking to me isn't the smoking aspect of it. It's the routine that I get in. Like after I eat, I like to have a cigarette. If I'm driving, I like to smoke. If I'm at work, I have smoke breaks planned throughout the day. It's like, okay, this time I'm stopping here. I'm going to smoke here. Blah, blah, blah. So it's like breaking those little fucking habits is the hardest part. Blake said I just sent you an email with a screenshot of my Elon tweet. You said you want to prove. All right, I'm gonna look at this right now, and I'm Hold on. We're bringing Elon Musk into this situation, by God. Let me get to, let me pull it up. And I encourage everyone to do this. Let me see if I can. Let me share this here on the show. There you have it. Save the Dawn of the Dead, Monroeville Mall in Pennsylvania at Elon Musk. Hell yeah. Everybody get on there right now. Go head to your Twitter right now. And let's blow up Elon Musk. Try to save the Monroeville Mall. Because I don't know. Elon Musk run the show now. So that's fucking awesome. Good shit, man. Good shit. I like the enthusiasm. I like taking this on head on. Mayor says, Uncle Bill, they're trying to get Trump and Musk to save them all. Yeah, that's where we're at now. That's where we're at now. We're trying to get the leader of the free world and the richest man in the world to come together and use their powers for good and save them all, by God. Uncle Bill saying if he was any better, he'd be twins. That's all we need. Two Uncle Bills. It's exciting. Matt saying, yeah, the Sunday tour would be cool. Let's plan on it. Let's do it. So, yeah, well, I'll put this out now. Anybody wants to join, do Larry's tour? If you want to take the tour with me, Matt, 1911 Guitar, you want to do it, make a big group effort out of it? Let's do it. Sunday, let's do the Sunday tour. So I'll make that official now. Let's do the Sunday tour. What could possibly be the final tour of the Monroeville Mall Living Dead weekend? I don't even like saying it. Brett saying, heck yeah, meet up for what might be the final tour would be great. Absolutely. Let's do it. Steven, what's up, man? Steven Ustrek Jr. is in the house. Sorry to hear about the mall. Wish I had the means to go, but I wish everyone a marvelous time who does. Well, I'll say this. I'm hoping Synth can make the trip again this year, all the way out from California. If for those of you that aren't able to go, he did it last year, so he does have his footage uploaded from last year. But I'm hoping if he goes this year, he fucking, because I mean, dude documents everything. These events that he goes to, it's like every day, it's like you're there with him, like you are with Synth at these events, and he, shows you everything there is to see. So if you can't make it, I would suggest checking out. I'm gonna try to do some more shit from. I'm pretty shitty about that. Like I said, my phone is dog shit. Like it's the front facing camera on this phone does not work. As you can see, it is maybe see there you go, cracked to shit. So the front facing camera doesn't work. I'm gonna try to do a little more this year on location stuff. But since usually got that shit covered. Like he's pretty much got it covered. So I've definitely go subscribe to his channel. Check his stuff out. Hopefully he makes it this year. Rob says you inspire me. I just ordered the crazies and there's always vanilla. Hell yeah. Did you get the Arrow versions? Because Larry's got quite a few location, I guess what we'll call location bonus features on there. A lot of good work on those. Yeah, exactly. Zombie historian. I need lighter fluid. Again, Dawn of the Dead. Fucking people are smoking all over that place. Even Fran's smoking. She's fucking pregnant. So anytime I watch Dawn of the Dead, I want to be fucking Roger, man. I need fucking lighter fluid. You got it. Larry says, little secret. We wanted to do 2 Living Dead Weekend Monroeville Mall shows, June and October, but we can't even say if that's possible now. We basically have to, here's the second half, make friends with the new owners and see what's possible once they take over. That would be awesome. That would be great. I would love that. Because I mean, this would be a big year. Because I know Day of the Dead's 40th anniversary. Return of the Living Dead, 1985 is 40th anniversary. Return of the Living Dead as well. There's a possibility for a reunion there. A Reanimator reunion would be cool. I mean, there's so much that happened in '85. Give me a fucking Friday 5 reunion. I'd be happy for that. And you'd cover both there with Miguel Nunez. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's so many possibilities, and I think this would be the perfect year to do 2 events at the mall. You know, Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead. Don't forget, it's the 25th anniversary of Bruiser. Matt, Larry, I know you are big fans of Bruiser. So I mean, there's so many anniversaries and things we could do. That 2 would be, could necessitate 2. Uncle Bill says, "Yeah, I'm 100% going this year. Fucking awesome, man. I've never been, but only needed any excuse, and this is it. There you go. Awesome, man. Take the tour on Sunday. Let's all take the tour together, and let's have Larry walk us through the mall and show us where everything was. And Larry's tours are awesome, Uncle Bill. I don't know if you've heard much about it or ever seen any of the. 'Cause I know Since done some footage on it, but they're really detailed, really fucking cool. Larry spends a lot of time figuring out this stuff and showing you how the shot was and how you can tell like this is the spot where this shot happened. It's for uber fucking nerds like us. Like it's fucking awesome, worth every fucking penny. Matt says, Alpha, I think we've coincidentally been on the same tours together every time. We have. Only would be right for what could potentially be the last one. Yeah, 100%. You mentioned that the other day. I was like, yeah, that's true. Like every time we took the fucking tour, it was me and Matt were on the same tour. We didn't even plan that way. Like this was, really before me and Matt really knew each other. We were kind of on the same tour and we kind of went from there. Which Matt stalked me all over fucking Pittsburgh that first year. So I kind of expected it at that point. Yep, there you have it. June is a go for sure. So that's the big news. That's the big positive, good news that's coming out of all this is that 2025 June is 100% full steam ahead. So John says he's good at making friends when he needs to. Yeah, that's a good idea. Put Vulo on the case. He'll handle this shit easily. He'll have these motherfuckers admitting that they were zombies in fucking Night of the Living Dead. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, I was a zombie in that." It's like, okay, right. Uncle Bill says Elon could buy them all, fill it with gold doubloons, and swim around like he could, and I'd be totally fine with that. Why not? Instead of the fountains with water, just put gold doubloons in there. Why not? Dude, you just saying that out loud brings tears to my eyes. Seriously. Well, I mean, it is what it is. It's not. Like I said, it's been kind of a bummer thinking about the past couple days, but it is what it is. Let's just try to make the best out of it, I guess. Robert got the Arrow versions. Very cool. Yeah, check them out. They're best version, definitely for the crazies. And what'd you get? Vanilla or Season of the Witch? I can't remember which ones, but either one of those. The Arrow versions are definitely the best versions out there to get for sure. Mayor just subscribed to Sin's channel. Hell yeah. Yeah, since like I said at the beginning of the stream, the fucking hardest working man on YouTube, I swear. He's been at the NAMM convention all weekend long, filming that and walking all around and doing everything. And then after that, I think he had to do somebody else's podcast earlier, and then he jumped on for Dirk and Darren's Demons podcast earlier. So the dude's everywhere. I mean, he was just sitting in the car on the side of the fucking road doing that the Demons show for the Euro Crypt. Since the man. Robert says, I bought Bruiser on your recommendation. I really liked it. Crazy movie. There you go. Yeah, it's not, some like it, some won't. But fuck you. Yeah, I don't know. I think that was just the universe kind of, because I mean, even just shit that had nothing to do with Romero or the mall. Like we ended up I remember it was like the last Sunday of the show. and there was a frozen yogurt place in Monroeville, and we just decided, hey, let's go get some frozen yogurt. Like we just ate pizza next to it. So yeah, let's go check out the frozen yogurt spot and get some frozen yogurt. Walk in, place our order, and then I'll be goddamned. Here's Matt and Stephanie, and they're walking in, and I'm just like, we just look at each other. We just lock eyes for a second, like something's up. Like, what are you doing here? It was just meant to be, man. It was just meant to be. The universe was in charge of our meeting, I guess. I don't know. It's saying my 40th birthday this year as well. Happy birthday, sir. 40, the big 40. I'm catching up to you. I'm right behind you. Don't worry. The 40th anniversary of Ed Trader Music and Entertainment. Another reason to celebrate. So we'll definitely do some celebrating this year, sir. Larry says, I can't wait to meet you, Bio Bill. Bayou Bill. Oh, yeah. That's what the fucking fucking dude was calling him. You mean Uncle Bill? Yeah. What is that dude's name? I can't remember what the fucking guy's name was. Calling out the Dead Pit guys for tearing up some slips, which I got a $20 super chat tonight. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys want to see me tear up a slip case. Is that what you guys are wanting? It says you met Wes last year. Yeah, Wes was there last year. I think that Sunday. I didn't get to see him, but I did say hi to him. He was on the bottom floor, and I was on the top floor, and I just kind of waved. I was like, "Hey, CK." He kind of waved me. That was the only time I saw him that Sunday. You don't remember I got Season of the Witch in your recommendation? Like, that's what I thought. Yeah, it was cool. Now I'm getting a Season of the Witch. You mean Vanilla and the Crazies? Yeah, I remember you talking about you got Season of the Witch, and I remember you weren't that crazy about it, if I remember correctly. That one and Martin. I think you weren't too big on Martin, if I remember correctly. I think you'll like the Crazies. I really do. The Crazies, to me, I know people. The editing on it is frantic and crazy, but 100% Romero. And I know some people in the past have called it a zombie film or a zombie-esque film, which it's not. But if you watch it in the eyes of like, oh, this is kind of a prequel to a zombie film. It's a prequel to Night of the Living Dead because it's based in Evans City too. It kind of works like that too. But I love the Crazies. It's one of George's most interesting films to me. One that I can draw a bunch of different conclusions out of and really ponder and think about, which, as you guys know, I fucking love to do. Yeah, check out Larry's channel, the WGN TV. That Day That Dead TV version was hilariously bad. Yeah, check that out. He just posted that. Was it yesterday, Larry? Put that the TV, the Sci-Fi Channel edit of Day of the Dead on there. Brought back some memories. I remember seeing that shit because that was what, like, if it was ever on TV when you're at your, your grandma's house or something like that, you'd be like, "Oh, watch Day of the Dead," and it was always like the bad overdubbing and shit. Oh, yeah, Slipcover Steve was the name of the guy. I guess we'll give him a quick plug here. Robert says, I have the Arrow version of Season of the Witch, and I'm getting crazy. Perfect. Yep, you got that's the whole collection there, which comes in the box set, but you can get them all individually for a lot less than you can that full box set at this point. Robert says, don't mess with Slipcover Steve. He's either a troll or mentally ill, and if he's mentally ill, he needs help. Well, there you go. I was kind of thinking the same thing, but I'm glad you went there, Robert. So I didn't have to. Larry says, I'm a Dead Pit fan for life now, thanks to you, Alf, for putting them over. Absolutely. I am too. And then I've said this 1,000 times. I've said this to Uncle Bill anytime I can. Anytime we do a stream together or anything, it's like, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be doing what I do without discovering Dead Pit and discovering their YouTube channel. And I can say that for a lot of channels that I watch regularly and that I know that wouldn't be a thing without Dead Pit. I mean, they started literally horror talk radio in the mid 2000s before podcasts were really a thing. Like, I didn't really hear the term podcast until, I don't know, early 2010s, maybe mid 2010s. I don't remember when the first time I heard the name podcast. So they've been doing it. They were the original. They've been doing it first, and to me, they're still the best. So, if any of you guys in here are not fans of Dead Pit or not subscribed to their channel, go subscribe to them as well. Because, like I said, I wouldn't be doing this if I hadn't found them and what they do. John says it's funny that they tried to make one of the most vulgar and graphic of George's films of TV. Why even bother? Yeah, it's true. But it's probably the one that they actually could get a hold of. I mean, of course, Night of the Living Dead, I guess. You know, that everybody fucking used that, but I mean, yeah, I guess Taurus Entertainment. You know how they are with the. I mean, they've pimped out Day of the Dead to any fucking body that nobody there was like, it's probably not a good idea to, you know, give the rights to Day of the Dead to the Sci-Fi Channel because they're gonna have to cut it all to hell and put all these bad overdubs. They don't give a shit. I mean, we've seen what Taurus Entertainment and those guys have done with that whole catalog, Day of the Dead, Creep Show. I mean, God, that Creep Show 3, give me a break. Which is what they own all those now because they I think I can't remember, did they buy them out from the Hassanines and United Film Distribution, or I think they sold to Taurus Entertainment. I can't remember the exact way that went down, but whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's a good one. Best Day of the Dead edit. Having a road saying, anybody fiddles with my command, they get court-martialed. They get executed. What was the one that's like Steel instead of everybody knows all throwbacks all have big dicks. Instead, it says like all throwbacks have big hands or something like that. It's like, oh, it's fucking hilarious. Yes, sir. Dead Pit rules, absolutely. John says, I was surprised they left a lot of the racist names in it. Well, you got to think, too, this is early 2010s. Or, yeah, probably early, well, probably mid-2000s, I think I remember seeing the Sci-Fi Channel version of Day of the Dead. And a lot of things were not quite as PC as they are now, I guess. So, all right. So I'm pretty caught up on the comments. The only other thing I wanted to touch on tonight, I wanted to bring this up because it brought back a lot of memories, and it's another really sad end of an era to me. Norman England, who a lot of you guys may remember from the Zombie Farm website back in the day, announced on his Facebook page, a lot of Facebook news going on this week, announced on his Facebook page the other day that the Zombie Farm website, after 28 years, is now no longer available online. He put out a post saying, after 28 years of online life, my Dawn of the Dead tribute page, The Zombie Farm, is officially dead with no chance of resurrection. While I stopped updating it around 2005, I kept the site live for posterity. In addition to just having fun with it and expressing my love of Dawn of the Dead, The Zombie Farm also featured my journal and interviews from the Biohazard 2/Resident Evil 2 set. He says, the site only cost me $10 a month to maintain, and I plan to let it continue indefinitely. However, I missed a payment, and Rakuten, I guess is the name of the fucking whoever owns the thing, Rakuten, the Japanese technology conglomerate that hosted it, deleted everything. Fuck them, in parentheses. Luckily, I still have the original file, so I plan to organize and rewrite the pieces and interviews related to the Resident Evil 2 shoot and reprint them in a new version of my book, Ring of Fear, which is self-published on Amazon. So there's that if you're looking for that. This will take several months, but it's something I feel I need to do. It was fun while it lasted, and I made a lot of friends because of the Zombie Farm back in those Wild West early days of the internet before social media took over and ruined everything. So that's from Norman England. The Zombie Farm, it just brought back all those memories, and it's like you think back all those sites back in the day, the homepage of the dead, the Zombie Farm, Blasie's, WGON, Zombie Watch. That's how I grew up. That's where I discovered a lot of this shit and discovered that people were also into this, including me. I felt like I was alone. Like nobody else really liked this stuff in my school or anything like that. So finding, and I commented on Norman's post and was like, well, the Zombie Farm is the reason that I got suspended from high school because apparently it wasn't school appropriate, which is a true story. Like in the school library, I would be just spending most of my time just on either Homepage of the Dead, Zombie Farm, um, any of those. There's like a whole list here. Um, I kind of wanted to go through and see what still works and what doesn't. Because the Homepage of the Dead, homepageofthedead.com, is still up and running and active. Kind of, sort of. I mean, there's still, it hasn't been updated in quite a while, but I mean, it's still available. But you had, of course, the GeorgeARomero.com, Romero's official website, livingdead.com, one of the most comprehensive sites available. So I think this was Chris Stavrakis's website back in the day. Let me pull this up. Let's go through these and see which of these websites is still active and still available to visit all these years later. Because like I said, that's where I cut my teeth. All these websites, finding out all this information. Like I remember that's the first time I saw, because there's a page, I can't remember what website it was, but there was a page dedicated to bloopers and shit in Dawn of the Dead. So that was the first time I saw the trampoline in the truck sequence. And I remember thinking like, holy shit, how did I never see that? Now I can't not see it when I watch the fucking thing. But let me pull up, because I'm on Homepage of the Dead right now. And they have a tab on their website called Links of the Dead, which takes you to all of the other various Romero-related, Dawn-related sites that were available back at that time. Let me get it up here. We'll all go through it together here. I think this would be a fun little way to end the show after talking about all this depressing shit all night. But yeah, here it is. Links of the Dead on homepageofthedead.com. You guys remember the music on homepageofthedead.com back in the day? The do 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 boom. That shit used to play on fucking repeat when I'd be on this page back in the day, and it's stuck in my head, and it'll always be stuck in my head. I'll never forget it because I don't think the music works on here anymore. Every time I go to this page, the music doesn't play. So I don't think the music works anymore. But and as you can see over here, the forum still got some activity here. I don't know what the hell this is, all this stuff up here, but there's still people posting in the forums, which is cool. I used to spend a lot of time on those back in the day in my high school. But yeah, so livingdead.com. Let me click on that. Nope. Livingdead.com no longer working. So there's the Zombie Farm. Norman's site offers a comprehensive, excellent, and unique look at Dawn of the Dead. There's a Day of the Dead site here. Jamie's site promises to be a comprehensive look at Day of the Dead. Also has a things section. Does this still work? If they work, I'll pull them up. We'll look at it, but I don't think any of these are going to work. No, page not found. So that one's no longer available. Page of the Living Dead, the Dead Trilogy, and the Return of the Living Dead films. Not found. So yeah, I don't think any of these are working anymore. Page of the Living Dead, there's George Romero's films and spinoffs. That's the same one, I think. Site can't be reached. The Ghoul Next Door, Kyra Schoen's homepage, The Little Girl and Night Living Dead film. This one still works. Sorta. Let me pull it up here. Because this is Kyra's. God, I haven't been to this in forever. So this is Kyra's website. Let's see what happens when we click on it. Oh, here we go. Hi, my name is Kyra Schoen. I appeared as the cellar-dwelling, trowel-wielding, mother-stabbing, father's arm-eating zombie girl Karen Cooper in the original 1968 Night of the Living Dead. Grew up watching and loving horror movies, and I realized how fortunate I was to be part of horror film history. It has truly been one of the highlights of my life, and that's true. If you get a chance to meet Kyra Schoen at any of these shows, you can see that she's a big horror fan too, and she's pretty fucking awesome to meet. I'll just say that, and she still looks pretty damn good too. I'll throw that out there. Yeah. So this one still works. Kyra Schoen's website still works. That's pretty cool. I had no idea. Let's see. Open Tomb. this one work? Nope, page not found. Dawn of the Dead Rules, another site dedicated to Dawn. You guys remember a lot of these? I don't think this one works either. Gaz's Dawn site? I don't know who Gaz is. Unless I meant it was supposed to be Daz. Yeah, I think this is supposed to be Daz because this is the dawnofthedead.co.uk. So this one's still up and still working and still pretty up to date, actually. You throw it up here. Take a quick look at it real quick. Oh. Due to the sensitive nature of the records you may find, please review. Uh-oh. I just... God damn it, Daz. I just got a fucking virus. All right, let's close that. Hopefully no damage done. That's pretty cool. You got the video here playing. WGN Zombie Watch. So yeah, we got some updates here. It's got the hours for the Monroeville Mall, open 7 days a week. Very cool. So yeah, dawnofthedead.co.uk is still up and running. It's a nice photo. There's Larry. Old photo of Larry there with George. There's Blasey. There's Daz. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that this is still up and rolling. Sorry, Larry, are you a part of this? Are you still working on this website? You're credited here. Me hit some of your comments here real quick. Whatever happened to the homepage of the day? It's still working, my man. It's still up and rolling. Larry says I completely copied and backed up Norman's Zombie Farm website years ago. I have it on disc somewhere. Awesome. I think it's still. I think I heard some rumblings that it's still available, like on the Wayback Machine or whatever it's called. There's still some stuff there, but. And yeah, Larry, I've realized that about you. You save everything. If you have the Sci-Fi Channel dubbed version of Day of the Dead on DVD, I fully believe that you save everything. And thank God you do. I need to be a little better about that because I'll come across some shit. I'm like, yeah, I'll come across that again at some point, and then there's stuff I want to revisit, and there's no way to. Like I'm talking about that. That intro that John Lydon, Johnny Rotten does for Dawn of the Dead on the IFC back in the day. I'd love to go back and see that again, but I don't know where the hell you'd find that. Matt saying, yeah, went down a month or two ago. Yeah. Archivist. Yeah, we'll call you an archivist. You're a little bit of everything, Larry. Matt says, I used to email Norman back in the day. I wanted to make a Dawn site of my own, and his advice was basically, just don't copy me. Hey, it's good advice. Good advice. Yeah, Zombie Farm. John says, I love Zombie Farm. Still remember in 1998 when Homepage of the Dead uploaded the mall directory map. Unfortunately, I don't remember Stavrakis's or other sites. See, I'm going to try to hit y'all's comments here real quick. Zombie Farm can still be seen on the Internet Archive Wayback Machine. There you go. John said Zombie Farms where I remember hearing about that 3-hour Dawn cut. I don't remember the first time I heard that or heard about that. Yeah, I like to think about that one. I don't remember where the hell I fucking heard that. Yeah, the fucking music, the Homepage of the Dead music, Matt. Boom, it's got that fucking, yeah. I'll never forget it either. Never fucking will, I swear. I was kind of hoping when Land of the Dead came out, because right before Land of the Dead came out and there was all the talk about it, I was kind of hoping they would kind of use a version of that song or something similar to that song. But unfortunately, the soundtrack for Land of the Dead is fairly forgettable, in my opinion. But that fucking Homepage of the Dead music's not. That's for fucking sure. John says, I miss these old cons websites, links to other websites and stuff. It was so much fun discovering new info. Yeah, it really was. I mean, it was literally a rabbit hole. Let me take us off screen real quick. Yeah, but it was like going down the rabbit hole back in the day. It was the first time you got, like, for me as like a 13-year-old kid sitting in class, like, you just go on Ask Jeeves or Yahoo or something like that, and you type in Dawn of the Dead, and then all of a sudden, this whole fucking world that you had no idea about just shows up, and it's like, oh, there's all these websites and all this information and all these other people that love this movie too, and know all about these movies. And that's, like I said, that's when I found Matt Blasi's AOL, his AIM name, and fucking just started messaging him and was like, hey, like, you like these movies too? And he's like, oh, I love them. And we just talked about him after that, and it was like just cool finding out, because like even people, like even my friends in school that liked horror movies and same music and stuff like that, like done that, like to them I was always like, oh, Mike likes zombies, Michael likes zombie movies, which I do. I like zombie movies, but I don't look at myself as like, oh, I just love zombie movies. I love Georgia's zombie movies. But I mean, from that spawned all these other zombie movies that I have appreciation for and I have a love for. But like, nobody got that level of appreciation and love for just George's movies. You're just like, oh, Mike likes zombie movies. So finding other people that had that specific appreciation and love, like you guys, like finding you guys is awesome, because there's nobody else that really understands that. Like when I tell people at work, it's like, oh, I'm taking a week off in June to go to the mall in Pittsburgh. They're like, again? Like, why? Didn't you do that last year? I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to do it every year until I die, hopefully, They're just like, oh, okay. Nobody else gets it. So it's just cool finding other people that kind of got it for the first time. Yeah. Goal Next Door still open. Blake says homepage of the dead was how I found out about that con at Expo and the Monroeville Mall when I was stationed at Fort Bragg. Forever indebted. There you go. Yeah, I owe a lot to homepage of the dead for sure. Oh, John's got a lead to follow up on. 2001. Yeah, I remember you sent me those photos, man. I would have loved to have gone to one of those conventions back in like 2000, 2001 during that time period. Like I said, my first one was 2008, and still even then, like it was still not what it is now. It was, affordable and all that, but that one didn't pop off and almost kill me. But yeah, that would have been the perfect time. I remember the first time ever hearing about a horror convention at the mall. So where I'm from, we had a mall, but it wasn't a good mall, so we had to drive to the nearest big town over, which is Clarksville, Tennessee, right on the border of Kentucky and Tennessee. They had the bigger, cooler mall. So when I was younger, growing up, if we wanted to go to the mall, if we wanted to buy anything, we wanted to get anything worth of shit, we had to go cross state lines and go to Clarksville, go to their mall. It's the first time I'm in this mall, and this is probably 2000, 2001, probably around this time period. It's probably 13 years old or so, 12, 13, just kind of starting to get into all this stuff. And I had no idea even George was still alive. Like, I didn't know. Like, I just thought George Romero was just kind of like a name like Arthur Conan Doyle or something. Like, he was just a guy that wrote these movies, I didn't know. But, the fuck was I going with this? Oh, the first time hearing about a convention and just having my mind blown, like this was a thing that could happen. Was going to the mall. There was always a guy at the mall. Everybody knows this guy. I think every mall has this guy. It's the guy with the long hair, the older gentleman, not the older gentleman, I don't know, but the older guy that has the long hair and the fucking battle vest and just hangs out at the mall. The old school mall rat, just walks around the mall, reads the magazines and Barnes and Noble, and then goes to Hot Topic and buys a t-shirt, whatever, just goes to the mall to hang out on the weekends. And there was always this guy I would see who'd have the fucking leather vest and always had like an Evil Dead shirt on or something. And I heard him talking to somebody outside of a Hot Topic as I'm walking out. And he's just talking. He's like, yeah, man, there's this convention next weekend in Nashville. Sam Raimi's going to be there. George Romero's going to be there. And when I heard that, I literally stopped and looked at him. And I said, did you say George Romero? He's like, yeah, George Romero's going to be there at the convention in Nashville next week. I was too young. I couldn't make it to Nashville to go to convention anyway. But that just planted the idea in my mind that, like, holy shit, like, I can meet George Romero? Like, that's unheard of. Like, how is that possible? So if I would have been able to do it back then, Forget about like talking about like when I met George, I was how old I was a 19-year-old, adult at that point, and I still acted like a blubbering child. So imagine if I was a blubbering child meeting George, meeting one of my heroes for the first time. Um, Forget about it. Anyway, I have a tendency to go down memory lane sometimes, guys. I apologize, but um, you guys take me down that road sometimes, but I appreciate it. I like doing it. Matt says, if I remember right, Phantasm.com had a link to my Phantasm fan page. Oh, that's cool. It was a huge deal to me. Yeah, I bet. Like, I always dreamed of doing like a website or something, but I never really had the knowledge or really knew how. Like, I would kind of handle some of the band websites when I was in a band back in the day. I'd handle our websites, but I was just do it through like free webs. You guys remember freewebs.com? It was just like the most basic like website builder you can think of. Free webs. I forgot all about free webs. That says Dad's site is the only one that has info on a bootleg Dawn poster that I have. Oh, that's cool. Matt says, wasn't there a horror site called House of Horrors or something like that? Anyone remember? That sounds familiar. That sounds right. I feel like I remember hearing that name back in the day. I remember the first time I got on the internet and the first time I discovered a horror website. Anybody want to take a guess what I put into the search bar? I'm looking my first experience with the internet. I didn't grow up with the internet. Like I got first time I experienced the internet, I was probably 10, 11, 12, something like that. And the first time I got on there, I wanted to look at horror movie stuff. I wanted to look at scary movie stuff. So the first thing I put into the first website that I tried was www.scarymovies.com. And I'll be goddamned if there wasn't a website called scarymovies.com and it had like all sound clips and stuff from Dawn and Fulci Zombie, and you could download them, and I would download these sound clips. I used to have, I guess it was probably like a WAV file or something like that of Peter's line, when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. And I would just listen to that. I put that on a CD. We'd burn CDs back in there. We put music on it, and we'd put quotes from shit. Like one of the other quotes that I downloaded, I remember one time was the scene in Scary Movie when I don't know if you guys remember that, but I remember the quote. The scene's when the news reporters are there, and it's like, reporting live from Black TV. White folks are dead. We get the fuck out of here. Come on, let's get the fuck out. I had that on that line on a fucking burned CD that started the fucking the playlist was just that line because it cracks me the fuck up still this day. It's one of the funniest lines in that whole movie. I don't know why. It's goofy as shit, but it's fucking hilarious. But anyway, yeah, so scarymovies.com was a real site back in the day. Then there was upcominghorrormovies.com. That's where I would always go daily to check to see updates on like Land of the Dead, The Devil's Rejects, House of a Thousand Corpses, all the movies that were coming out around that time that I was, excited to see. And I remember that's where I would always get like all the information on like the Diamond Dead and all these other movies that George was supposed to be making. But yeah, I don't know. I'm way down the fucking nostalgia rabbit hole here, looking at all this stuff and thinking about all the sites and shit back in the day. Ed saying I'm looking and asking around about that Johnny Rotten bit you were talking about. I swear, I didn't make it up. It was on IFC probably 2001. I want to say when they were doing Indie Screams that year, and they were playing Dawn of the Dead, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Quite a few. Last House on the Left, I think. I remember, if I remember correctly. But they had Johnny Rotten, John Lydon, introducing all these movies. But the one that I remember specifically was when he introduced Dawn of the Dead. I remember the line. I'll never forget. He's like, Dawn of the Dead. It's all about zombies and American consumerism. It's just like, he's like, I don't remember one specific scene about that movie, but I think that's kind of why it works. And I always thought about that, and I was like, yeah, it kind of makes sense because Dawn of the Dead really doesn't have scenes. Really, I don't know. It's not this. It doesn't play like it's just kind of a constant moving thing. Like it doesn't seem like, oh, this is a scene about this and this is a scene. I don't know, but Anyway, but yeah, if you ever find that, man, let me know. Let me know. I'll pay you for it because I that's just part of like my discovery and love of Dawn of the Dead was seeing it on IFC that one time. But yeah, I'm grateful that I have that memory. That's the thing. Like you guys can tell, like I get a little nostalgic and I go down memory lane sometimes on here, and I'm very thankful that I have the experiences and memories and a good childhood to look back on. You know, like a lot of people don't, and I try to remind myself that. I take it for granted sometimes, but I'm fairly happy with um you know my experiences and life experience and shit like that. Um, Larry says you can find most of these old websites referenced on the Wayback Machine Internet Archive. There you go. And they used to have the music on like scarymovies.com. They used to have all the horror themes on there from like page to page. I remember Candyman theme was on one page, and then you turn to the other page and it'd be like Friday the 13th or something like that. I just thought that just blew my mind when I was a kid. I thought that was the coolest damn thing. Um, Robert's asking, do you have any new news about the Night 90 release? Not really, no. The only bit of like new news that I've heard that hasn't been confirmed, there hasn't been like an official release or story released about it, but uh, there was the back and forth of whether it was going to be a Blu-ray or a 4K. I'm pretty sure, from what I've heard, it's going to be a full 4K release that's coming out. So that's cool. I'm looking forward to that. But outside of that, like that's all I've heard. The last bit of news that I got about the Night 90 release is the news that I put on my channel in that video. So, but definitely, I mean, any next bit of news we get, I'll definitely be on here. We'll definitely be talking about it because I think that's kind of the big, one of the big releases coming out in 2025 for me. So definitely looking forward to that, and I'm definitely looking forward to finding out more about it because, like I said, it's going to be new footage apparently from what Savini said. It's going to be it's going to be a new cut, so I'm curious to see what all that entails. And like I said, I know Felsher's been working on the bonus features for that for quite some time, so I'm excited to check those out because that's one of those movies. Night 90 is one of those movies that there's not a lot of bonus features and shit out there for. There's not a lot of commentaries. There's like the one commentary from the DVD from back in the day that Savini did, and it's just Savini. It's just a one-man commentary. So I'm curious to see who they get for commentaries on this thing. I don't know. I'm excited though. I'm curious to definitely see what all they got in store. Blake says enjoyed hanging out tonight. I'm about to have to leave. Everyone, don't forget to tweet Elon about the mail. Absolutely. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you hanging out tonight. And definitely, everybody, head over to Twitter. Get on there now. Save the Monroeville Mall. Tweet it to Elon Musk. Fuck it. Tweet it to Donald Trump. Get on Facebook. Can you tag Mark Zuckerberg on Facebook? I don't know if you can do that or not, but yes, let's start the movement. Let's start the movement. Follow the lead of Blake here, and let's get this thing done. But good to see you tonight as always, my man. I appreciate it. But yeah, yeah, House of Horror. That was one that's listed on here. Loads of info on horror films. This link takes you directly to the Great George Romero section. There you go. Official Tom Savini homepage. The Joe Pilato preservation page. Here's the good one. Remember Dr. Logan, the Dr. Logan page for Day of the Dead. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, kind of take a little stroll down memory lane, share some good memories of the Wild West, as Norman put it, of the internet back in the day. Everybody's websites and shit back in the day. But that's, like I said, it's where I learned a lot of what I know now, and so it sucks that it's no longer available. I'm not going to pretend like, I still go to that website every day, or no, I probably haven't been to the Zombie Farm website and honestly probably over a year. I mean, it's been because me, like, I'll still go back sometimes and look, and but I don't know. It just sucks. It's like with all the news surrounding the mall and Living Dead Weekend and everything, and then hearing that the zombie farm's going, is no longer available online, and it just seems like we're losing so much, losing more and more the older we get, which is normal. It's gonna happen, but it's just kind of a bummer, It's just kind of a bummer. Yeah, you did, Robert. You did. You started this shit, invoking the name of our commander in chief, Donald Trump. But hey, it can't hurt. Can't hurt. Down is up saying the being of the 1990 film is supposed to transition from black white color. Yeah, the beginning. Yeah, and Tom has talked about that before. That was kind of always his idea for how he wanted to start the film, was for it to start in black and white and then gradually, it'll transition into color, which is cool. And that's apparently is what they're doing with this new cut. So I'm expecting it to be very different than the version we got, and I'll be interested to see if I like it any more or any less than the version that we got, because I've talked about before that Savini's Night of the Living Dead is kind of the introduction to Romero and zombie films in general for me. I saw that first. I saw that before the original. I saw that before Dawn. I saw that before Day. Like that was the zombie movie to me when I was probably like 10 years old. Because I remember getting hooked on Resident Evil, the games, the first 2 Resident Evil games. And then my aunt came along and was just like, hey, if you like zombies, have you ever seen the movie Night of the Living Dead? Because that was the only one she kind of remembered that was like, oh, a zombie movie, Night of the Living Dead, Because Night of the Living Dead is synonymous with zombies and is, to me, the name Night of the Living Dead is just as recognizable worldwide as the name of like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Hulk Hogan or something. It's like everybody around the world knows that name. So when I heard that, I was like, oh. So then at the, going to the video store and seeing the box there, Night of the Living Dead, I was like, oh, that's the movie my aunt told me about. So I took it home, watched it, and then fell in love, and and here we are today. So yeah. The older I got, as a movie, I have issues with it for sure, but I still love it. I still love it to this day, and I'm very curious to see what this, new version, like Tom said, it's like the version that we got was about 30% of what he wanted. This new version is going to be about 60. So I don't know. From that, it sounds like it's going to be something very different than what we've gotten. So I'm excited to see. Yeah, Patricia Tallman, beautiful woman, but B, tough and just a complete fucking badass is Patty Tallman. Larry actually told me a funny story about Patty Tallman. I don't know if he ever wants to come in here and tell, but yeah, just so fucking cool. To me, she's the female in the Romero world, I guess. She's kind of the female Tom Savini. Like she's the stunt woman. She's up. She'll take a job and do anything. She's like, oh, what do you need me to do? You need me to jump off this roof? Like, oh, all right, I'll fucking do it. Yeah, okay, sure. You want me to run through this field barefoot? Okay, whatever. Like, yeah. And love her in Night Riders. Well, for a couple of reasons. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I think that's about it for tonight, guys. I appreciate everybody hanging out, kind of going over all the news and the happenings in the world of Romero and Living Dead Weekend and Monroeville Mall, and it's just been a kind of a busy bummer of a week a little bit, but hey, you never know what the future holds. Let's hope for the best. And like I said, the best thing we can do is make this year's Living Dead Weekend the biggest, most successful one yet. Make it undeniable, by God. Make it fucking undeniable. That's what I'm saying. Quick Robert says, I love the idea of 4K. I need the original in 4K also. I'm assuming that this release will have both versions. I think it'll have the original version and the new cut. I'm assuming. That's a bit of news I don't have yet, but that's just an assumption on my end. So absolutely, Larry. Always fun to talk. Texting, chatting quite a bit here lately, and always enjoy it. Thanks, Down is Up. Appreciate it. Thanks again, Michael, for another great stream. I appreciate you hanging out tonight as always, sir. And look forward to seeing you at Living Dead Weekend. And Larry says, thanks for promoting Living Dead Weekend. Absolutely, man. And like I said, I'm just invested now as a fan, as somebody that enjoys the event, that looks forward to it every year. Not getting paid or any special treatment for it. I'm a paying customer, a paying fan like everybody else. But I want it for George and for the legacy and for the mall and everything that goes into it, and to show my appreciation for the work that goes into pulling this thing off every year. I want it to be as successful as possible, and I want it to continue, if for no other reason than just for my own selfish reasons, really. So yeah, I'll always promote Living Dead Weekend. Matt says, whether it's the last or not, I'm so looking forward to June. Can't wait to see you guys there. Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to it as well. Adios, sir. Adios to John Vulos. Always good to see John in here. I'm sure he's busy at work digging up something. Brett says, have a great night. All those websites bring up nostalgia for me and my high school computer lab. Yep, me too. Me too. Looking forward to Living Dead Weekend. I'm looking forward to meeting you there, man. But yeah, appreciate it. You guys make sure like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, watching for the first time. Appreciate it. Helps me out a whole lot. Helps get content out there a little more. Helps bring more people into the fold. And we need that more than ever now, because a lot of shit seems to be going away. But I don't want to end on that. That's too negative. But anyway, hit that big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, the notifications bell, all that fun shit. I'll be back next week with more fun and frivolity, or whatever you want to call it. Check out the store, shop.alfaromero.store. Got the new Zombie Hunter 78 shirt available, which is what I have to call it, because if I tried to call it the Volkswagen Scirocco, I tried putting that on TeePublic and they wouldn't let it happen, because I guess Volkswagen was like, no, we're not, you can't sell my shit. But I got around it so check it out. It's cool. Appreciate it. And a couple more comments here. Yes, sir. Yes. Larry says, like it now, fellas. Yes, everybody give it that big thumbs up. I appreciate it. Ed, it was good to see you, man. Later, everyone. And I'll be seeing you Living Dead Weekend this year as well, sir. So it should be a good time. Looking forward to it. But appreciate you guys as always. Hope you guys have a great rest of the night, a great rest of the week. And always, always stay scared.